Hampshire, and it certainly has to be close.
She accused former President Trump of talking incessantly about his legal issues. Trump told a Fox News town hall this week the legal cases against him are forms of election interference.
Nikki has no chance, but if she ever did, they would go after her the same way.
But Haley was asked why she can't seem to stop Trump, whose numbers seem to rise with every legal filing or appearance.
Just wait. March, April, May, June.
The months, she says, when the former president will be stuck in courtrooms. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Here's South Carolina Senator Tim Scott.
What we need now is to be very clear. Any other day after tomorrow, talking about Republican primaries is a day wasted not talking about Joe Biden.
The senator's comments on Fox and Friends. President Biden is renewing a push for Congress to take up a bipartisan border agreement. Fox's Jared Halpern reports from the White House.
President Biden told a room of Republican and Democratic governors here to apply pressure on their congressional delegations to take up a Senate border and immigration proposal.
You have real skin in the game. So if this matters to you, it matters to your state, tell your members of Congress are standing in the way. Show a little spine.
A bipartisan Senate bill would have put new restrictions on asylum and authorized new spending for enforcement. Republicans say it is not strong enough and have urged the president to restore policies from the Trump administration. President Biden is reportedly considering some executive actions, though they could face legal challenges. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's going to warm back up next week. Partly cloudy, 51 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. Your radar's clear. Low temps all the way down to 27 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:02. You'll have temperatures in the 30s Saturday, but they'll be back in the mid-60s next week.
Spring is starting to get into the air on occasion. Saturday into Sunday will be the biggest change. 30s on Saturday. We'll call it 50s across the region on Sunday.
Forecaster Alex McGinnis says areas north and east of Indianapolis could get some snow later tonight. The fire departments in Marion County, or make that 2 fire departments, may soon become 1. Kurt Darling reports.
Wayne Township Fire wants to merge with the Indianapolis Fire Department, a move that township trustees say will save the department a ton of money since the department's well is running dry. Trustee Jeb Barden says not much will change if the merger goes through.
This has happened in 5 other townships, plus the city of Beech Grove. The services do not decline.
It still needs approval from the Indy City County Council. Barden calls the move painful but necessary. Kurt Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
For the first time in 5 years, someone in Indiana has contracted measles. The Indiana Department of Health said Friday that person lives in Lake County. The best way to protect yourself is to make sure you're vaccinated. Measles starts with a fever, runny nose, and red eyes, followed up with white spots inside your mouth and a rash. More than 1,600 teaching positions were open in Indiana at the start of this past school year. John Heverick reports on what lawmakers are trying to do to fill those jobs.
They're working on a bill that would create a transition to teaching scholarship for people who want to quit their job and become a teacher. State Representative Jack Jordan of Bremen co-wrote that bill.
This scholarship is a great opportunity to pull Indiana's talented career professionals into our classrooms. Our goal is to expand this successful initiative and help our schools fill much needed positions.
You would have to have a bachelor's degree, get an initial practitioner license, and teach in Indiana for at least 5 years. The bill passed in the House. Now the Senate is reviewing it. Sean Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:04.
Did you make a resolution to prioritize your health this year? What about your home's health? The health of your home depends on your foundation, crawl space, and basement. It's time for a checkup if you're seeing signs like cracks or leaks in your home's interior or exterior walls, nasty smells, mold or mildew, sticking doors or windows, heightened or worsening allergies and asthma even while you're indoors, pests or bugs, uneven, sagging or bouncy floors, or drainage issues. Schedule a time for Indiana Foundation Services trained and certified field inspectors to stop by and check out what might be causing the problem. Fixing these issues will safeguard your property's structural integrity and enhance the overall safety, comfort, and value of your home. Visit IndianaFoundation.com now to book a free inspection. Indiana Foundation Service. There's a reason they are the trusted local experts.
Indiana Foundation Service. Reliability from the ground up.
With traffic in the 5s at 3:05, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, looking at northbound, 37 slow right now from Epler Avenue to 465 because of road construction. 465 looking pretty good right now. Everything coming out of the downtown, that's no problem. Traffic sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Mostly sunny skies today. It's going to be a beautiful afternoon with highs near 52. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Some scattered rain or snow showers possible with lows falling to 25. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
Just a quick update, as we've been doing every day on this show, the cop killer Elias Dorsey, his trial update. The update is the jury is still in deliberations, and they stayed awfully late last night. I say last night, I guess I should say early this morning.
Around 2:30 a.m. They had deliberations for about 10 hours yesterday into early this morning. They broke around 10:30. Now, they're not sequestered, so they were allowed to go home. They went home, got a little rest. They reported back today, and more deliberations are underway.
Of course, Dorsey killing Officer Breanne Leith. It was a domestic violence call in 2020, shot through the door. She identified herself, had police, and he started unloading his gun through the door, hit her in the head. She died. And now we just have to wait for the jury to either find him guilty or insane.
Right. He's not going to completely skate, but there could definitely be some scaling down of charges here if they feel like he was mentally ill in any way. So, again, now we wait. They deliberated for around 10 hours yesterday. They reported back to the courthouse around 1 o'clock this afternoon, and the jury heard additional arguments, like one final round of closing arguments from each side. Each side, the defense, the prosecution, they were given 20 minutes tops to refresh the jurors and make their case in hopes that they can get a verdict today.
Let's hope the prosecution does its job very well and convinces that jury, because he's trying to weasel out by using the insanity defense. It's ridiculous. Lee's family thinks it's ridiculous and outrageous. It's not me speaking for them. They've said it on the news before. I would have a feeling that the FOP, the IMPD, all are standing closely by watching the outcome of this verdict.
We've said this for a couple days. For me, it comes down to, does he know the difference between right and wrong? All the other stuff, the brain scans, his activities, the things he's done in the past, his upbringing, all I want to know, does he know the difference between right and wrong? Because if he does, and I think that he does, then justice has to be served for the Leith family. So we are keeping our eye on that story. Nigel, a little update here on the big AT&T outage of yesterday. At first, some stories were coming out saying, well, maybe it's solar flares. Well, maybe it's Ric Flares. Woo! I don't know.
Maybe it's a hack.
Maybe it's a hack. Maybe it's the Chinese. Maybe it's the Russians. I don't know. Well, now the story is that it's just crappy software.
Oh, really?
AT&T says their outage was caused by a software glitch.
They fixed the glitch.
Little office space for you. They told ABC in a statement that the outage was not a cyber attack, but caused by the application and execution of an incorrect process used as they are expanding their network.
Again, like I said yesterday. What did I say yesterday? That's fancy talk for human error. But to be fair, I wasn't going to believe no matter what. I don't believe no matter what they say. Like if they came out and said, yeah, we got hacked by the Chinese, I would have said, that's a bunch of BS. I bet it was bad coding,
Somebody that was told to learn to code didn't properly learn to code.
That's how cynical I can be sometimes. I don't believe anything I hear anymore.
The folks at AT&T also went on to tell ABC that, quote, there was nothing nefarious or malicious about this incident.
Okay, good. That's good. Don't believe him, but that's good.
Full Ron Burgundy. I don't believe you.
The thing that scared me yesterday was the bank I go to had a nationwide outage too. So
I heard that from a few people.
Yeah.
Somebody in our newsroom, and I can't remember who it was, said they had issues with online banking yesterday as well.
I did.
So
it got back to normal around 7 or 8 o'clock last night, but I could not get into my account at all yesterday, which was kind of scary.
still a lot of questions. A lot of questions here. And you know who else doesn't believe what they're being told? AI Donald Trump. Here is AI Donald Trump on the big AT&T outage of yesterday.
It wasn't a software glitch. It was totally the Chinese. It's really sad. They are hacking your phones and coming across the border to have sex with your wives and shove Bud Lights in your children's asses.
AI Donald Trump right there.
What the hell?
With his thoughts on who's responsible for the big outage yesterday, Nige. We got some good news here. Who's ready for some good news?
Finally, please, can we, for once?
Pacers Sports and Entertainment, they put out their final reports on All-Star Weekend attendance. And turns out, breaking news, the people in the state of Indiana like basketball.
You're kidding.
More than 190,000 fans attended All-Star Weekend. This is the highest attended NBA All-Star Weekend in 14 years. That's good news, right?
Sure. I thought somebody, like a sports writer for the Star, said it was the death of the All-Star game, though, if I'm not mistaken.
The lack of defense being played in the game. That cracks me up a little bit. I was having a conversation on Outkick about this earlier in the week. I wish people were as passionate about local elections as they are wanting people to play defense in an all-star game.
Right.
Like, I get it. It's a glorified slam dunk and three-point shootout. But do you really want to see, like, Tyrese Halliburton getting down into a stance, slapping the floor, getting ready to lock somebody up? I mean, is that what you're expecting to see in an all-star game? I don't think it is. The money that was brought in for various charities throughout the state of Indiana, $3.5 million. So between the Pacers and the NBA and the various charities, youth, family charities across this state, $3.5 million.
Incredible. Love it. Love to hear that. And again, the highest attended NBA All-Star event in 14 years?
Yes. Over a decade, baby. Man. And that's with damn near blizzard on Friday.
Well,
like, I hate the fact the weather was so perfect just a couple days later. Like, we're walking around outside, in just like light hoodies. It's 60 degrees.
But with these stats you just rattled off here, it didn't seem to have much of an effect. It was still a success. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought the city came together. I thought it was a great event, and I hope the businesses made some money. Now, I did get a message on social media from somebody that did not want to identify themselves, but they work at a restaurant here downtown.
Okay.
They thought they would make a little bit more money, but what happened was Circle Center Mall was turned into like a food garage, like basically a food hall. All these different vendors were setting up in Circle Center Mall.
Like temporarily?
Yes.
Oh.
And that may have taken away a little bit from some of the local restaurants.
Okay.
Now, the bars were fine.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the bars have booze, will travel. They were fine. But the sit-down, standalone restaurants thought they would make a little bit more money. They didn't know that was going to happen with the mall. Speaking of businesses here, Nige, tell me if this would entice you, okay? Think about if you're somebody that doesn't really want to go back to the office. During COVID, you started working from home, and you realized, you know what? I kind of like it here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go full Tony Katz. Screw going into the office. I'm going to keep my rear end right here. Tell me if this would entice you. There's an article in the Wall Street Journal that says some employers are pumping in fragrances into the workspace to improve the moods of the staff.
Well, if you were pumping in, say a fragrance that smelled like brisket.
Ooh.
I'm coming back to work, baby.
That's right.
Count me in.
I don't care what they have to spray, but if you can get anywhere near that unisex bathroom that's right across the hall from us, I mean, it was bad before because I really do think the folks in that newsroom punish it. But now we've got to share the floor with those filthy, no good, rotten people from the Fan. And they go in there, man, and it looks like something you'd see on Carb Day. So by all means, spray some sort of fragrance and entice people to come back. And how about we do great moments in office fragrance history?
Oh, I didn't know there's such.
It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries. It's made with bits of real panther, so you know it's good.
It's quite pungent.
Oh, yeah. They've done studies, 60% of the time it works.
Every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Oh my God, what is that smell? Oh.
That's the smell of desire, my lady.
God, no, it smells like a used diaper filled with Indian food. Oh.
Desire smells like that to some people.
What is that? It smells like a turd covered in burnt hair.
Great moments in office fragrance history.
Smells like the inside of a fake leg.
Matt Bear's got a look at the roads.
Northbound 37 stop and go from Epler Avenue to 465. That's a work zone. Southbound lanes have a little bit of a drag as well from 465 to Harding. 465 all right at the moment. Starting to see a little bit of slow on the northeast side, northbound 465 at East 56. Traffic sponsored by Mattress Firm. Dive into hibernation mode with deeper sleep during Mattress Firm's President's Day sale. Shop now to save up to $500 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets and receive a $300 instant gift for pillows and more. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Hey, Matt.
Yo.
Bring your mangy ass in here and do some radio with us.
Yeah, I'm going to go check out that bathroom first, but I'll be there in a second. Nigel and I used to take pictures of this on the regular. It was a good time, man.
You better get your hazmat suit on if you're going into that thing.
Trust me, we've needed it a few times.
We have.
All right, so get to the YouTube feed. Matt Bear getting ready to join us in studio. Right now, it's 52 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Our country is being invaded. Thousands pour across the southern border every day, bringing fentanyl and violence. Who's to blame? Career politicians like Jim Banks. As a member of Congress, Jim Banks said that Indiana needed an influx of immigration. Jim Banks campaigned with political insiders like Paul Ryan and is endorsed by Mitch McConnell, who sabotaged the building of Trump's border wall. Jim Banks has betrayed Indiana on the border.
I'm John Rust, and I'm running to be your next United States Senator. I am a farmer, businessman, and political outsider. In the wake of the continued invasion of our border, I have challenged Jim Banks to join me in signing a pledge to remove Mitch McConnell as Republican leader in the United States Senate. It has become absolutely clear that a vote for Jim Banks is a vote for Mitch McConnell. I am John Rust. I approve this message because I'll vote to remove Mitch McConnell and make sure Trump's border wall actually gets built from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean.
Paid for by John Rust for U.S. Senate.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with internet and security for $49 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract when you add one unlimited mobile line. Plus, ask how to get an $800 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today to switch to Comcast Business. Ends 5/5/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 100 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Imagine sleeping on a cloud with a new Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, or Sealy mattress, and you can say goodbye to restless nights and waking up sore, and you get the sleep you deserve and want. Don't miss our President's Day mattress sale where you can save up to $800, get free delivery, and interest-free financing. Sale ends Tuesday, February 27th, only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Franciscan Health has been your hometown leader in heart care for decades.
recognized in 2024 by Health Grades as the #1 hospital in Indiana for cardiology, and by CareChex as #1 in Indiana for major cardiac surgery and interventional coronary care, we're proud to keep the hearts of our community beating strong. Franciscan Health, where our greatest reward has always been serving you. Take a heart risk assessment or schedule an appointment at franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no two people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. And now, during the final days of our President's Day sale, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus 10% off all bases. Ends Monday. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Discovery, innovation, progress. It all starts right here at IU Indianapolis. We're making cutting-edge discoveries in science, technology, and healthcare. We're investing in Indiana's future with degrees that make a difference. We're partnering with local businesses to drive our city forward. And we're just getting started. See where we're going at indianapolis.iu.edu/start.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust like Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Yeah, Nigel. Hammer's here. Also live in studio, Matt Baer, the traffic beast from the WIBC Traffic Center. His podcast is called Supporting Sobriety. Matt, the podcast dropped a couple of weeks ago, and I just got around to listening to the first 2 or 3 episodes this week. Incredible stuff. And it's
thanks, man.
Do you mind if I play a clip from this?
Yeah, if you have one,
Hammer,
sure, go ahead.
Do you care if I've got this clip, and I recognized who you were talking about in this clip immediately. This
okay.
It starts out. This is from the first episode, and you'll hear Ryan Hedrick, your
partner?
your co-host and your partner, but he's also part of the WIBC news crew. You'll hear him talk for a few seconds, and then you proceed to tell a story. And if we could go ahead and hit that clip, please.
And I have long-term recovery from the disease of addiction, and now it's my mission to help you support your loved ones as they struggle with their addiction.
I have a coworker that I wanted to hang out with and go drinking with, so we went on a Saturday afternoon. It was around 2 p.m., and you have to find that particular bar, that one bar that will serve you alcohol at 2 p.m. and not give you too much of a look. And we were able to find it, an old bar, a traditional bar, not necessarily a dive bar, but even they started giving me funny looks when I started ordering, tequila on a Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. It wasn't one shot. It turned into 6 or 7 on top of the 3 craft beers we were drinking in the meantime. I did drive home. I did go home and go to sleep and pass out, and I woke up, and again, my hands are shaking. I'm vomiting, and at that time, it was, yes, you need to go back into rehabilitation. My name is Matt Baer. I'm an alcoholic in recovery.
That was from the first episode of Supporting Sobriety. That coworker was me.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've sort of talked about that before. I can't remember if we've talked about that before on the air or not, but so what do you think? Like, I sit there and I'm listening to it and I'm smiling, but at the same time I'm like how do you reconcile being able to kind of smile and not necessarily joke around about your past? You know what I'm saying? But like, I remember that day vividly, and I do remember you. Wow, this guy's drinking warm yellow well tequila out of a Dixie cup. But I was drinking too, But right. I wasn't on that level, I will admit. So when you look back, can you look back on that? Because a little smile came over my face because I remember that day and I remember enjoying being with you. But at the same time, I didn't know you were going through something horrific.
And that's the thing. I mean, you might have seen me sulking down in my chair a little bit more while I was listening to that. And that's, common when you hear that stuff back. The reason I tell this story, everything, I have a sense of humor about this, except for the part of drinking and driving. That's the part of that I regret the most. But I have to admit that.
Yeah, I understand.
I've got to admit that because I want to be honest about it. I want to be honest with people about, the crimes that I committed, and that's.
Now, let me just jump in here real quick because that's the first thing that I noticed because that's the first time I'd heard that clip. I've not yet had a chance to listen to a lot of the shows in their entirety. That's the first time I've heard that clip. And the first thing I thought of was, oh my God, Matt Bear was hammered and he drove drunk home. But then, Nige, you let him. Now, you're not his dad. You're not his gatekeeper. But your podcast, does it in any way discuss situations like this? Like, is there any responsibility that should have been on Nigel's behalf?
Yeah, that's should I have said, hey, wait a minute. Hey, Matt, you want me to drop you off? Now, I think at the time, and it doesn't matter in any way, shape, or form whatsoever, I will say you lived right around the corner, I believe. But I maybe look back and say, hey, why don't you let me drop you off?
The thing is, and I'm going to tell you first off, and yes, you always want to be there for your buddies and everything, but I'm culpable. I made my decisions, and I knew what I was doing when I said, hey, Nigel, do you want to go have a drink with me? I wasn't drinking to just have lunch or dinner. I was drinking to get drunk, and then I was going to drive home because that's what I always did. I say that with no pride whatsoever.
No.
And I say that without expecting anybody to forgive me or to excuse my behavior on that. But when we do address this, and we have an episode called Enabling, and we just touch on this. Remember, a lot of these topics we're just touching on right now, and through supporting sobriety, we're putting the information out there for the people that help people like me and like Ryan Hedrick, our fantastic morning man on WIBC, and now my co-host, my partner, and he's a great one. But we put that out there to help the people that helped us because we put them through so much. And on that day, I put the people on College Avenue through a lot. They didn't know it at the time, but I sure did because I was.
People's kids are out there driving around. And I know I sound like such a wet blanket.
No, you
but
don't.
my kid is driving.
No,
Can I say something else about the podcast too? It's not just you and Ryan telling each other stories.
No,
it's not that at all. That was just kind of one story to get everybody introduced to who you and Ryan were. But it's you have sobriety. You have I listened to the episode where you had the interventionist, the professional interventionist on, which was very compelling.
It was my first sponsor, Scott Watson. Yeah, he's a very loving individual.
We've had him on the show before.
Yeah, Scott's terrific, and he was the one. He didn't arrange an intervention for me, but he did reveal arrange a call where I had family come over, and we talk about that as well. We have an episode out there about enabling, and talking about enabling, in which I just don't feel like. You can be enabled, but for me personally, I take responsibility on this for myself and my behavior. I can't look at my upbringing and say there was something wrong with that. I mean, my parents, they loved me to death. They tried to do everything for me. There is nobody on the hook here except for me.
What I love about this project, and for those who are watching on the YouTube stream, you can see there are times where Matt's really uncomfortable. I can tell when you're uncomfortable, right? Mm-hmm. I can just see it in your body language, but you're doing this anyway. And I know this is helping people because I heard Rob Kendall talking about how he couldn't stop listening to it. Rob doesn't have any problems, but he binged all of these episodes. Nige, he just said he's listened to like the first 3 of them, binged these episodes. So even if you're not somebody with a problem or somebody in your inner circle that has a problem, these are things that you can learn. And maybe if there is somebody down the line you can help, these podcasts are going to help.
Yeah, but you guys have drilled it. That's exactly what it is. Although Ryan and I tell our stories because we want to share that part of we want to be honest about that, be honest who we were and who we are now, because we are clean now. We do have careers now. In the careers, Ryan's a successful guy, and I'm sure he'd say the same about me. But we want to show where you can go, where the addict, where the alcoholic that you love, that's in deep addiction right now, where they can be if they do get sober. But the first thing is getting people sober, and that's what supporting sobriety is about. Offering family members, wives, husbands, these tools and this knowledge so they can go out and stop people like me in addiction. I'm not a bad guy. I made some horrible decisions. I've said some terrible things in my life. And your alcoholic may or may not be a bad guy or a bad person. They are captured by this. They are captured by this disease. They don't know who they are. I'm 2.5 years sober without alcohol. I do not drink. I'm still figuring out who the hell I am. Mm-hmm. I've been drinking since I was 16 years old. And I'm talking not just drinking, binge drinking. The low point of drinking for my life was getting drunk 4 nights a week. That was the minimum. 4 nights a week. And that's when I was not abusing alcohol in my mind.
And when you say drinking, you're not talking about you had a little glass before bed to help calm the nerves. You're talking about next level kind of stuff.
I'm talking about a minimum 2 bottles of wine. That's what I would take down. And usually it becomes 2.5, 3, and it goes on. Sure. You guys know how it is when your tolerance builds. We want to help people that we have abused. And that's, I couldn't be more sincere about that. And even in sobriety, guys, we make our mistakes, and we still kind of act like horses' asses sometimes, and we say the wrong things. But the fact is, I will take any problem I have today over 5 minutes of that gray, of that hell that I put myself through 2.5 years ago to get sober again. Once you begin the process on that first day, everything starts to get better. I swear on my life that once you start to detox and you go through those first 24 hours and those 48 hours, everything is better because you can finally manage your problems. Start managing your problems like an adult. And that's what it is.
If you have a Twitter account, please do us a favor and follow at @sobriety_pod. I just tweeted it out on our account at Hammer and Nigel, so you can link to it from there. That's where you can find the shows. You can also download them anywhere podcasts are available. Supporting Sobriety is the name of the podcast on social media, on Twitter at *sobriety_pod. Matt Bear, you are a rock star, man.
Real quick, guys, can I thank my mom and dad, my sisters, and my brother, the 5 of us that, I haven't said much about them lately, and I just want to thank them. And, of course, thanks to you guys for promoting the show. And Rob was excellent earlier this week. Rob and Casey, they were amazing to be on with. So we are so blessed to be here today. We really are.
Right rock and roll. You're the best.
Love you guys.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
For John's 60th birthday, his family planned to drive down Old Route 66. But the trip took a detour when his wife got sick with RSV. It's a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems and hospitalizations.
This year, we don't want to cancel our plans. We're protecting ourselves with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine.
Abrysvo, a vaccine to prevent lower respiratory disease from RSV in people 60 years and older. It's not for everyone and may not protect all who receive it. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had an allergic reaction to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may decrease your response. Most common side effects are tiredness, headache, injection site pain, and muscle pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com.
So don't wait. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, because every breath matters.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
You might get some snow tonight. 50 degrees, mostly sunny on the circle. Your radar's clear. It should stay that way. Low of 27 later. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:32. With temperatures cooling back down today, parts of central Indiana could get some snow.
If you get north and east of Indianapolis, Anderson, Muncie, areas like that, there might even be an inch to an inch and a half of snow late Friday night into early Saturday morning. And then Saturday will certainly be a lot chillier with temperatures only getting up into the 30s.
Alex McGinnis with the National Weather Service. It could warm up to the 60s next week. One person's in custody after the death of a University of Georgia student. A spokesperson with the university made the announcement after police showed up to an apartment complex near campus. The student who died was Laken Riley, who left for a morning run yesterday and never made it home. Her body was found in the woods behind the school. Several governors visited the White House today, including California's Gavin Newsom, who spoke with the president about improving transportation on the West Coast.
We're building the nation's first high-speed rail line in California and Nevada. And I want to thank Governor Newsom for his leadership in that.
Biden also spoke about the federal government's investment in climate change and how their efforts are being embraced in California. The Indiana Department of Health says they've come across someone in Lake County infected with measles.
This is the first time in Indiana someone has been reported to have the measles since 2019.
I'm John Herrick. State Health Commissioner Lindsay Weaver says because measles is so easily spread, just one instance of it is considered an outbreak. It begins with a fever, cough, and runny nose. The Department of Health also urges you to make sure that you've been vaccinated to prevent the spread of measles. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
IU women's basketball pulled off the upset against Iowa in front of a sold-out Assembly Hall last night. It was a big win, says head coach Terry Morin.
I think we had to have this one tonight to help us with our resume.
Iowa guard Caitlin Clark, who's the all-time NCAA D1 leading women's basketball scorer, only had 3 3-pointers in the loss. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:34.
Got cabin fever? We've got the cure. The Ford 69th Annual Indianapolis Boat, Sport, and Travel Show, February 16th through 18th and 21st through 25th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Over 750,000 square feet of the latest boats, RVs, power sports, motorcycles, Tackletown USA, travel destinations from across North America, and much more. Save money and buy tickets online at IndySportsShow.com. And don't miss the 26th Annual Indiana Deer, Turkey, and Waterfowl Expo during the final 3 days of the sports show, February 23rd through 25th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. It's the largest hunting expo in the Midwest, displaying the latest hunting, archery, and waterfowl gear. Hunting outfitters from around the globe. Learn from the pros at the Hunting Seminar Series. Get your deer scored and see the Hoosier Record Book Hall of Fame. One ticket gets you into both shows. For details and to save on tickets, visit IndySportsShow.com. Another Renfro production.
With traffic at 3:35, here's Matt Pear.
All right, Harrison, southbound 65, now stop and go traffic from 29th Street to Meridian Pad. On the east side, northbound 465 slows from Penn Pike to 75th. Southbound lanes also slow after I-70 down to South Shadeland Avenue. Northbound 37 is jammed from Epler Avenue to 465 because of construction. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Indy's leader in patio installation is now offering a new driveway package. Schedule free estimate today at IndyDecorativeConcrete.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Mostly sunny skies today. It's going to be a beautiful afternoon with highs near 52. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Some scattered rain or snow showers possible with lows falling to 25. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
To the Hammer and Nigel Show.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a special guest on the hotline.
Tommy Piggott is the Strategic Communications Director for the RNC. You can check out some of his work on the popular Twitter handle at RNC Research. Tommy, it's been a big week for border reports, getting a lot of information coming out of the border. And the thing that sticks out to me, and we've talked about this on our show a little bit, more Chinese nationals are coming across the United States southern border than those from Mexico. What do we make of this?
Well, it's a really concerning trend. First, on one level, shows that the border crisis is global. If you remember back a few years ago, the Biden administration's whole pitch to solve the border crisis was a root causes, quote-unquote, strategy that focused on the Northern Triangle in Mexico, when in reality, we've seen people cross the border from 160 different countries around the world. So that's the first thing, just showing how global this is. And the second is just the question of why. I mean, we see the Chinese Communist Party as an entity trying to infiltrate U.S. technology, U.S. agriculture, spy in the United States, while at the same time we see this massive influx of people from China crossing the border, and there's little to no vetting involved with people that are released into this country, regardless of the country they're from, under Joe Biden's current policies. That coupled also with the growing effort by the Chinese Communist Party to spy on the United States, whether it's the spy balloon or whether it's through having bases in the United States where they can conduct spy operations. There are so many questions here, and it just heightens the global nature of this and the security nature of this. And it's another reason why we can't afford to have an open border. We need a secure process in place.
I'm glad you bring up the spying angle, because let's not be naive here. The Chinese, they love to spy on people. They've got the technology, and at first they thought they would be cute and just send a spy balloon across the country. They kept waiting for it to get shot down, but Joe Biden never shot it down until it was done. I think after that, Tommy, they realized, Well, hell, why don't we just walk across? It'd be easier. We can get more people if we just walked across into their country.
Well, and that's part of the big concerning part about this. If you remember back during the Trump administration, they shut down a major consulate that was in the United States from the Chinese government that was considered a major spying operation, a spying base within the United States. The Chinese Communist Party was operating, and they shut that down. We're seeing spying where they're setting up bases in Cuba. They're setting up bases close to the United States in order to spy on us. You mentioned the spy balloon. They sent that over. There's all these different efforts to spy on us from the Chinese government. There's TikTok, which is a spyware app that is basically operating on American phones, millions of them. So to say that the Chinese Communist Party wants to spy on the U.S. is an established fact. And the big question is, why are we seeing this huge increase of people? It's either a coincidence that tens of thousands of people have the same idea at the exact same time, but that's not a coincidence that we can really just take for granted. I think another option is that there's some sort of either an effort behind this or a broader and more significant reason that could be a security concern that we need to get to the bottom to. And the bottom line is, this shouldn't even be a question. We shouldn't be in a position where tens of thousands of people from any country are crossing the border and being released into the United States with little to no vetting. We need a process in place, especially when it comes to the United States national security, in order to know who's being released into the country and who's crossing the border.
And it's so disingenuous for President Biden now talking a tough game on the border, talking about signing executive orders to make it harder for people, illegals, to claim asylum, make it easier to deport. It's so it just shows that he is a out and out all in liar, because a couple of weeks ago he was like, sorry, I've done all I can, Congress, we had it out there, I've done all I can. But now he's talking about signing executive orders, and that doesn't do anything to the millions of illegal immigrants that are already here and have been here for years.
Yeah, already 9 million people crossing the border just since Joe Biden took office. 9 million people, an astronomical number. And so in this executive order discussion, you're exactly right to point out that this proves that Joe Biden's a liar. Him going out there saying, I've done all I can do on the border. And now he's saying, oh, wait, there's other executive actions that he can take. We'll wait to see what those are, because today Karine Jean-Pierre went up and said they've actually made no decisions on whether or not they're going to take executive actions. So he might not even end up taking any. But ultimately, it does show that he's a liar. And it's also years long of lying about the border. He created this border crisis with his executive orders. In the first 100 days, 94 executive actions creating this border crisis. And his first response to the border crisis was that it was seasonal. And then after bizarrely claiming it's seasonal, then they started claiming that their border process was working. They claimed for years that the border was secure, they had a humane process at the border, flat out lying about the facts and hoping the mainstream media would cover for them. So this is the latest in a long string of lies from Joe Biden. If Joe Biden wanted to end this crisis, he could do it with the stroke of a pen, reversing his open border executive actions, or alternatively, he could pass H.R. 2, which the House passed to secure the border. The solutions are on the table, and the fact that Joe Biden's not taking them up shows in my mind that this is on purpose, because every day he refuses to take action, it's another day he is purposefully allowing this border crisis to continue.
Tommy Pickett is our guest. He's the Strategic Communications Director for the RNC. Tommy, it feels like Joe Biden's trying to take the temperature of the Democrats right now. Like, are they upset about what's going on at the border, or should he just continue business as usual? Like, whoever's pretending to be Joe Biden, because he's not calling the shots, it feels like they're trying to take the temperature of the party. Because on one hand, you've got like Pritzker. He comes out and says, whoa, we didn't ask for this crisis. We didn't ask for all these immigrants, even though they're a sanctuary state. And they're not the only ones. Like the folks in Illinois, the folks in New York, they're all complaining here. So it kind of feels like Joe is almost doing some polling, some research to see what the next step should be.
I think it's actually a very good point, because we do see this a lot from the White House when they put out feelers or media balloons, if you will, to see how they're received by the public. They do these selective leaks to try to see what the response is going to be. I do think this White House in general is so beholden to the radical left that it doesn't even matter where the majority of the American people are, or even, frankly, the majority of Democrat voters. They only really care where the far left is on this issue. And the far left, which controls the Democratic Party, is an open borders contingent of that party. So the Democratic Party, by default, then, is an open borders policy. And the problem when you have these different governors and mayors coming out here that are saying, oh, we need to take steps to secure the border, is that what's going on now is not only the direct result of Joe Biden's policies, it's the direct result, like you pointed out, of the policies of these governors, of these mayors that made themselves sanctuary cities. I mean, based off of Democrat policies, right now in Joe Biden, Democrat America, you can cross the border illegally, commit a crime to enter this country, then get sent to New York City, get a taxpayer-funded shelter, receive thousands of dollars from the city on a credit card without any ID, then go out and assault a police officer, get arrested for that, get released under cashless bail laws, and then get sent back to your taxpayer-funded shelter. That is the result of Democrat policies in this country. And it's not just the White House. It's the entire apparatus. It's from the smallest office to the biggest office in the land where Democrats have control. And that's why we need Republicans to win up and down the ballot. So they can go out there and say Joe Biden needs to secure the border, and he does need to do that. But Democrats in these governors' offices and these mayors' offices need to reverse their sanctuary policies and actually enforce the law, not have these pro-criminal codes that release people back onto the streets every single time they commit a crime.
Tommy, we got about a minute left here, but you bring up New York City. Tell me about this New York appellate court that ruled in the GOP's favor. What was this about?
Well, this was a massive victory for us. We have an unprecedented election integrity operation. But basically, the left in New York wanted to let 900,000 non-citizens vote in New York City's elections. So that's unacceptable. We sued, won a massive victory stopping that. We're going to keep fighting to make sure that American elections are decided by American citizens. Full stop. That shouldn't be controversial, but Democrats right now, the left, is trying to make it so non-citizens can vote. We're taking legal action to stop that. We're going to keep on fighting. This was a massive victory for us, for the country, for that matter. We're going to keep fighting this fight and making sure that we have an election system that's fair, transparent, and that American elections are decided by American citizens.
Find his work on Twitter at RNC Research. Tommy Pigott, Strategic Communications Director of the RNC. Tommy, we'll talk to you next week.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
All right, caller number 9 right now, 239-9393. We got a couple tickets to go see the Dave Matthews Band. He's doing 2 shows here in Indy, up at Ruoff in Noblesville. We've got tickets for the Friday show, June 28th. We've got an all-new game we're going to play today.
By the way, can I just say, side note, I'm glad bands are doing shows on Friday and Saturday nights now again, instead of like coming on a Tuesday. That sucks. Yes. I don't care if it's in the summer or not.
So This is the Friday show we're giving away the tickets for. Caller number 9, 239-9393.
Maybe you want to sell the house you're living in now, but you think it's too difficult to sell. It's in a weird location, or maybe it needs a lot of work done to it. Don't worry about it with Mark Dietel. Mark Dietel is the only agent I trust and recommend to sell my house and find me a new one. Just like Dan and Jen in Avon, they were ready to downsize, move to a smaller dream home, but there was a lot of challenges to navigate. They had Mark Dietel and his team on their side, and they got their difficult-to-sell home sold at the price they needed.
Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. That is the Mark Dietel guarantee. So go with the best. Go with Mark Dietel. He's the only agent we recommend here on the Hammer and Nigel show. 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Get started with internet and security for $49 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract when you add 1 unlimited mobile line. Plus, ask how to get an $800 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today to switch to Comcast Business. Ends 5/5/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 100 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Indiana Pathways for Aging helps Hoosier Medicaid members age 60 and over get support at no additional cost to live life their way.
Mom's Parkinson's is progressing, and Pathways provides in-home support so she can be with family every day.
Pathways coordinates Medicaid and Medicare services. I'm getting help with meals, personal care, and transportation.
One day, I might choose a nursing home, but today, I have options with Pathways.
Eligible members can select a plan now. Call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Did you miss the Sullivan Hardware and Garden patio furniture sale last weekend? Well, you didn't miss it all. Due to tremendous response, we've held over the best pricing of the season on premium patio furniture. Hi, Pat Sullivan here. Have you seen all the patio furniture at Sullivan Hardware and Garden? Teak, cast aluminum, all-weather wicker, Berlin garden poly furniture, and much more. Many customers ask me, why is our patio furniture different? Well, we specialize in excellent quality, mid-price patio furniture that's in stock at our 17,000 square foot warehouse. And again, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, patio furniture already preseason priced at 30% off is an additional 20% off. You can even order your own custom cushions at no extra charge. Come see for yourself once again this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Patio furniture already preseason priced at 30% off is an additional 20% off. Sullivan Hardware and Garden, 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn, and in Cicero. Online at sullivanhardware.com.
Chuck loves the word grit, and I think he saw that in his father because his dad worked very hard.
Dorn Goodrich on family and her son, Chuck Goodrich.
We struggled. We had 4 children. We both worked, but we always paid our bills.
Chuck Goodrich was raised in a working-class home focused on faith, sacrifice, and a strong work ethic. As a young man, Chuck Goodrich worked at a gas station and a pizza shop. To pay his way through Purdue, Chuck worked at a campground, living in a tent one summer to save more money.
I said, but son, where are you going to live? He said, well, I got a tent, and I'm going to stay in that tent. He was willing to do whatever it took.
Now, Chuck Goodrich's sacrifice, grit, and relentless work ethic have paid off. Goodrich employs 2,000 people at Gaylor Electric.
He wants people to succeed because God gave him a heart for people.
Chuck Goodrich, conservative leader, Hoosier Heart.
I'm Chuck Goodrich, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Go with Chuck Goodrich Committee.
Discussing end-of-life matters can be uncomfortable, but it's also necessary to ensure that loved ones' wishes are well known ahead of time. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. Up next, I'll share suggestions to help ease anxiety surrounding the talk.
Why Adult Day Services? Because no matter how much you love someone, there are times when you need a break and someone to help. Let Joy's House be that someone for you.
Direct, open, and honest conversation is the best way to discuss end-of-life wishes. Knowing your loved one's preferred treatments and desired arrangements will ready everyone for when the time comes. Also helpful, creating a will or trust to ensure assets are distributed accordingly. And consider an end-of-life doula to assist your family during the process. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access the library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Indy's leader in patio installation is now offering a new driveway package. Schedule a free estimate today at indydecorativeconcrete.com. That's indydecorativeconcrete.com.
Design it before you buy it. For a limited time, receive 50% off all products, plus special manufacturer rebates and 20 months, no interest, no payment.
Trust me.
Matt Bear's got to look at the roads.
All right, Hammer, looking at southbound 65 stop-and-go traffic coming into downtown from MLK to Meridian Penn. East side, northbound 465 slows Penn Pike to 75th, and the southbound lane slow from 70 down to South Shadeland. Traffic sponsored by B Window at bwindow.com. Learn how you can create an architectural design to CB's products on your home before you buy. And for a limited time, receive 50% off all products plus special manufacturer's rebates. Trust me. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
51 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Oh, yeah.
What is this music?
This music tells me it's time to play DMB or late night TV. Corey was caller number 9. Corey, how are you?
Oh, no.
I'm fantastic.
So, Corey, this is how the game's going to work. I'm going to read you something. It will either be the title of a Dave Matthews Band song or the title of something you would find on Skinamax in 1995 at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Man.
You get 3 out of
All
5.
right.
I'm going to give you the tickets, okay?
Perfect.
Number 1, Crash Into Me, DMB or Late Night TV?
Dave Matthews.
All right, one down. We got to get 2 more. Number 2, Emmanuel and Bangkok.
I'm going to go with Skinamax.
Yes, yes.
Emmanuel.
All right, get this one right. We're going to throw a party. DMB or Late Night TV, The Space Between.
Dave Matthews.
Yeah. That could have gone either way.
That was questionable.
Could have gone either way.
Corey, congratulations, man. You and a guest are going to go see the Dave Matthews Band in concert up at Ruoff on a Friday night, June 28th. Congratulations, man.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys. Much appreciated.
You got it. Stay on the line, and Allison will take care of you.
How many DMB shows have you been to?
Man, I'm not a huge
Neither was
DMB
I, but
guy.
I always went. I could probably count on both hands, and not much, not many more than 7 or 8.
Oh, wow. I'm only like 3. And I worked in promotions for a while, too. So
Yeah, so you were working.
Yeah. And again, with DMB shows, it feels like, at least it used to be this way, if he's doing 2 nights, one night is all the hits, and then one night it's like a hit medley and all the jam stuff.
The jam band, yeah.
You want to be there for the hits, I think.
10-minute guitar solos and saxophone solos.
Right? All that kind of stuff. Next week, we got tickets to give away for Rob Zombie.
Cool.
I can't wait to play Rob Zombie or Rob Kendall next week. That's going to be fantastic.
Rape, murder, and human trafficking. We've all read the stories of the evil crossing this border. I'm Mike Speedy, running for Congress in Indiana. So why am I at the U.S.-Mexican border? Truth is, Biden's failures put every town at risk. Drugs and criminal cartels are pouring in, while politicians do nothing. I've witnessed the unused materials for Trump's wall and visited with law enforcement on the front line of this invasion. I am running for Congress because it's time that we have leaders who will join President Trump to finish this wall, send troops to stop this invasion, and secure our southern border once and for all.
Mike Speedy is an America First conservative leader. Speedy has endorsed Donald Trump because he knows we must return President Trump to the White House to secure our border. And Mike Speedy is the pro-life, pro-Second Amendment champion we can count on to protect our values and keep us free.
I'm Mike Speedy. I'm running for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Speedy for Congress.
Andy Moore Ford is your place to fall in love this February. Fall in love with their great selection and fall in love with their amazing service. Get more out of your next service appointment at Andy Moore Ford. With Ford pickup and delivery, they'll come to you. Andy Moore Ford will pick up your vehicle, service it, and return it to your home or office. And say hello to more rebates. Federal and state incentives, you could save more on your EV purchase. With updated federal regulations, you can claim up to $7,500 instantly on site. Need more room and versatility out of your vehicle? The all-electric F-150 Lightning has you covered with seating up to 5, intelligent backup power, and on-site power for all your tools and gear. This all-electric truck is built for it all. Visit Andy Moore Ford right there on Main Street in Plainfield or find them online at andymoreford.com. Your new Ford car, truck, or EV is just a click away. Andy Moore Ford, M-O-H-R. I love Andy. andymoreford.com.
I had changed the locks, didn't even know where she was living. And then one night she calls to say she's getting treatment. Can I drive? I almost hung up. But then I thought, that's my kid. I chose to put away the hurt and the fear and just see my girl.
Addiction is a disease. Standing by a loved one as they fight it will test your faith, patience, and sanity. But it's possible when you see the person, not just their disease. Learn more at cbeyondtheaddiction.org.
Hello, America. It's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you don't have Consumer Cellular yet, now is the perfect time to switch and save. For a limited time, new customers can get wireless service for as low as $15 a month for your first year. Yep, the same exact nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for $15 a month for an entire year. What are you waiting for? Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and use code RADIO15.
See consumercellular.com/firstyear15 for promotional details.
I was struggling
to maintain contact with the professional world.
Dr. Ferner of Indianapolis talks about why he got the new CapTel caption phone from Relay Indiana.
When I got the CapTel phone, it turned it around.
Go to RelayIndiana.com. That's RelayIndiana.com. And read up on the CapTel caption phone.
People that I talk with do not necessarily know that I have this CapTel service. It's a piece of cake.
Go to RelayIndiana.com to learn more.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest. When plumbing problems arise, you need them fixed fast and right. The LD Smith Plumbing crew knows how to put water in its place. We do it all, from the kitchen sink to delicate repairs in historic homes, and we'll always give you honest advice at a fair price. So if you're worried about the cost of plumbing repairs, call today for a free second opinion on a competitor's estimate.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
Coming up in 2 minutes, temperatures could cool down Saturday, but they'll warm back up next week. A bill regarding protection of speech on college campuses has some strong consideration in the State House, and how politicians are trying to fill open teaching jobs in Indiana. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recycler Studios. Mostly sunny, temperatures in the 50s downtown. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
She's hoping for a big upset. I'm Tom Graham, Fox News. White House hopeful Nikki Haley hoping to pull out her first primary win tomorrow in her home state of South Carolina. But the momentum is with her Republican rival. Fox's Mark Meredith is in Charleston.
The Haley campaign has been going to great lengths the last couple of days to insist that they are looking past South Carolina, that they know the odds are against them. We've seen the polls show former President Trump leading. Still, Haley says it's important for voters here to have their say.
If you will join with me in this movement, if you will join with me in this fight, I will spend every single day proving to you that you made a good decision.
Trump has locked up much of the support from the state's big names in the Republican Party, including South Carolina Senator Tim Scott.
We were better off under Trump.
There are 50 delegates up for grabs. It's a winner-take-all state. Trump right now, 63 delegates. Haley, 17.
Real Clear Politics polling has Trump up by 25 points. The former president urging a judge in Florida to dismiss his criminal case over his handling of classified documents. Trump's lawyers claim presidential immunity protects him from prosecution. President Biden addressed the National Association of Governors today. His immigration remains on many state leaders' minds.
In this meeting, 34 governors showed up for the meeting with President Joe Biden, who was not here. Governor Greg Abbott, as well as Governor Ron DeSantis, were not here. But the president did address the elephant that was in the room here, and that was the border. The president doing it, making the case for the House to pass the negotiated Senate funding bill. A new Gallup poll shows that President Biden's approval rating just 38%. When you break that down into different areas, 67% of people disapprove of the way the president handles immigration. 61% disapprove of how he's handling the economy. An administration source tells me the president is thinking about executive action that would bar people from crossing illegally and then seeking asylum.
Fox's Edward Lawrence at the White House. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It'll warm up after the weekend. 50 degrees, mostly clear skies downtown. No rain on the radar. Low temps drop just below 30 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. Hoosiers will see temperatures rise from the 30s Saturday to the mid-60s next week.
Spring is starting to get into the air on occasion. Saturday into Sunday will be the biggest change. 30s on Saturday. We'll call it 50s across the region on Sunday.
Forecaster Alex McGinnis says areas north and east of Indianapolis could get some snow tonight as temperatures drop. A controversial bill regarding the protection of speech on college campuses keeps moving ahead in the State House. Kurt Darling reports.
The bill codifies protections for students and faculty to speak without fear of political retaliation from the school. Republicans have insisted upon the bill given recent studies they say show conservatives are unduly targeted on college campuses. Democrats say that's false.
I think people are getting sucked into this impression that somehow there are all these crazy leftist professors indoctrinating all the kids.
Democrat State Rep Matt Pierce, he says college professors and leaders, especially at IU, don't get enough credit. Kurt Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You might be hearing leaders in Indiana say schools need more teachers. State Representative Dave Heine of Fort Wayne wrote a law last year which created a scholarship opportunity for students enrolled in a transition to teaching certification program.
We received overwhelming support for these scholarships from professionals who want to pursue a career in education.
$110,000 scholarships were given out, a bill being discussed this legislative session trying to get more scholarship money to people who would like to move from their current profession into teaching. Indiana Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle says he's happy to have a healthy Therese Halliburton back in the lineup after the Pacers beat the Pistons by double digits Thursday.
Ty went through a tough 5 or 6 weeks, with the injury, the initial injury, and then the build up back to play and then playing.
Halliburton put up 25 points in the win and gave out 13 assists. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
Our country is being invaded. Thousands pour across the southern border every day, bringing fentanyl and violence. Who's to blame? Career politicians like Jim Banks. As a member of Congress, Jim Banks said that Indiana needed an influx of immigration. Jim Banks campaigned with political insiders like Paul Ryan and is endorsed by Mitch McConnell, who sabotaged the building of Trump's border wall. Jim Banks has betrayed Indiana on the border.
I'm John Rust, and I'm running to be your next United States Senator. I am a farmer, businessman, and political outsider. In the wake of the continued invasion of our border, I have challenged Jim Banks to join me in signing a pledge to remove Mitch McConnell as Republican leader in the United States Senate. It has become absolutely clear that a vote for Jim Banks is a vote for Mitch McConnell. I am John Rust. I approve this message because I'll vote to remove Mitch McConnell and make sure Trump's border wall actually gets built from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean.
Paid for by John Rust for U.S. Senate.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05, here's Matt Bear.
Harrison, southbound 65 into downtown. It is really loaded up right now. MLK down to Meridian Pennant. Southbound 65 is 70 running parallel with College. That's stop and go right now. We're from the north split down to Fletcher Avenue. Eastbound 70 slows from West Street to Meridian, Illinois. South side, eastbound 465 stop and go traffic Kentucky Avenue over to the White River. And on the east side, northbound 465 slows up after Penn Pike up to 75th. Traffic sponsored by the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. Guys, solve your ED today with an intimacy guarantee only at the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. If you don't perform, you don't pay. Call the Indianapolis Men's Clinic at 999-9000. That's 999-9000. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Mostly sunny skies today. It's going to be a beautiful afternoon with highs near 52. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Some scattered rain or snow showers possible with lows falling to 25. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
Wow. That's all I can say. We made it. It's Friday. We've got a little warmer weather. I know it's going to snow later tonight, but let me enjoy this right now.
Just a light dusting.
Just a little dusting. But man, it feels like this has been a long week. I think the best way to unwind from a very hectic, very chaotic week is by checking in with wheelin', dealin', hair sniffing, kiss stealing Joe Biden.
I got hairy legs.
But I'm not stupid. The guy takes a revealing picture of his naked friend.
So Joe Biden, speaking in San Francisco last night at a very private, kind of a closed-door butt sniffer meeting of all the folks that are hoping Donald Trump does not win. I don't even want to say Biden supporters because I'm not sure that's accurate. It's just folks that hope Donald Trump does not win.
Is that a fancy way of saying a fundraiser?
Yes.
Yeah.
And during this fundraiser, Joe Biden called Russian President Vladimir Putin a crazy SOB. So where are we at with this, Nige? Because on one hand, he's right. But on the other hand, do we really need to turn up the temperature a little bit with Russia?
Well, I don't think, I mean, the temperature's already been turned up. Remember, we had to walk back Joe Biden's comments about changing the leadership in Russia, regime change. At one point, something similar something akin to that, say like Putin needs to be removed, came out of his mouth, and that is not the official policy of the United States, and that got walked back real quick. So calling him an SOB doesn't really do anything for me. But I think the lead is buried in this story, because after that, he went on to say that the threat of nuclear conflict is not what we need to be worried about, but that the existential threat to humanity remains climate change.
Oh, okay. So crazy SOB with nukes, not greater than climate change. Okay.
Let me repeat that.
Interesting.
Climate change is an existential threat to humanity. He mentioned nuclear warheads, but he's like, we got to be worried about the nuclear stuff. But the existential threat to humanity remains climate change. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what it sounds like when a president who's polling very poorly is placating his bloodthirsty left-wing progressive climate cultist base.
Especially in San Francisco.
Absolutely.
There's a great episode of South Park where the family moves to San Francisco and everybody drives a hybrid and everybody smells each other's farts. That's the type of people that we're talking about here in San Francisco.
And look, you know what? If other countries aren't doing anything to curb their carbon footprint, why don't we invade? If it's such an existential threat to humanity, you better start looking at invading China and India and every place else that are, they love coal. They love building coal plants, and they could care less about climate change.
What's the carbon footprint report from some of these countries, Joe? Now, news of him being called a crazy SOB got back to Putin.
Yes.
Got back to Vladimir Putin. He did an interview with a Russian TV station where he was asked his thoughts on being called a crazy SOB by Joe Biden.
You asked me who we prefer as the future president of the United States. I said that we will work with any president, but I believe that for us, for Russia, Biden is preferable. We understand what is happening there from a domestic political point of view. And this reaction is absolutely adequate, which means I was right. What I said primarily for our audience, and not for the Americans. You asked me what is best for us. I'll say it as I said it then, and I think it now, and I can repeat it. Biden.
Wow. Another ringing endorsement from Pootie-Tang for Joe Biden. And he's even said it. He's like, that's really not what's best for Americans. It's what's best for us.
Right. He's saying it out loud.
Wow.
Like, remember all of the folks like Adam Schiff and even the Republican butt sniffers like Kinzinger. Well, Putin, he's just wanting Donald Trump to get in there so he can boss him around. Putin is so comfortable right now, he's saying it out loud and then throwing up his hands like Ice Cube and Boys in the Hood. What are you going to do about it? Yeah, we hope Biden wins again because we're getting away with literal murder over here. That's what we're doing, and nobody's holding me accountable, at least nobody that I'm scared of.
I'm interested to see what this latest round of quote-unquote sanctions against Russia looks like and what that'll do, because so far those sanctions ain't worked.
No, not at all.
Oh, you're going to cut off the oil? Okay, we'll just, we'll sell it to India and China, and we'll get rich off them. Okay, and we'll sell it cheaper than you guys do. How about that?
Joe Biden, speaking today, had a little press gathering and stated falsely again, and he's done this multiple times, that he's cut the United States deficit.
We cut the deficit by doing all this by $1 trillion so far. The biggest reduction in history in deficit reduction. I've signed legislation that's going to cut the federal deficit by another $1 trillion over the next decade.
So my question is, who are the stupid people that believe he's cut the deficit by $1 trillion? And his definition of cut is real tricky. And we see this here at the local level, like when Hogsett and Ryan Mears come out. Well, we've cut homicides this year. Well, yeah, but it was at a record high before. Just because it's a little lower doesn't mean that you've cut it from the time that you've got in office. It doesn't work that way.
Believe me, if Biden and his cronies could add to the deficit and could spend whatever they want, they would.
We got a little folksy racism out of Joe Biden.
No. Come on.
Kind of his thing. Here is Joe Biden on illegal immigration
Let's get it done. And by the way, speak to your agricultural communities and ask them if they need temporary workers.
Speak to your agricultural communities and see if they need illegals.
Well, Democrats have been saying that for in Congress. I mean, old Nadler. Yeah, who else is going to pick our orange? He said something similar to what Joe Biden. Yeah, who else is going to pick the oranges? Who else are we going to get to work in the fields?
He might as well just come out and say, well, that cotton's not going to pick itself. I mean, good Lord, this guy gets away with this all the time. And by the way, how many of these agricultural communities, Joe, are you finding in New York City, Chicago, L.A., Atlanta, Denver, all the places that are being overran by your problem? Joe Biden, who, by the way, has spent about 40% of his time in office on vacation.
Sounds like me.
Joe Biden and Big Nige complaining that Congress is on vacation and they can't pass through his Ukraine funding.
And there's no question, none. If the Speaker called for a vote in the House, it would pass easily today. Instead, they went on vacation. I mean, it's just, well.
Instead,
kind of sounds like Ted Knight there at the end. Joe Biden said he had the honor of meeting with Alexei Navalny's widow. Now, Navalny was the guy that died in the Russian prison. He was a political rival to Vladimir Putin, may or may not have some compromising information.
Survived previous assassination attempts via allegedly Putin.
Yes.
Sure.
Now, the widow that he's talking about, her name is Yulia. Yulia.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden called her Yolanda.
This morning I had the honor of meeting with Alexei Navalny's wife and daughter. The one thing that was made clear to me is that Yolanda is she's gonna continue the fight he had underway.
Who the hell's Yolanda? Yulia is her name. That was kind of like, when Andrea Waters King was there with MLK III and Joe Biden was singing Happy Birthday, forgot her name, and just called her Velvet.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Velvet. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Yolanda.
It's incredible. Yulia.
Yolanda. We got Beer Sample Friday coming up a little bit later on to officially kickstart the weekend.
Yes,
but if you're looking for a reason to drink tonight, if Friday is not a good enough reason for you, it's National Tootsie Roll Day. Now, where are we at with the candied Tootsie Rolls? I know Tony Katz hates them. You're giving it a big thumbs down, right?
Big thumbs down.
Okay, so maybe this is a baseball thing in me. As a kid, if it wasn't bubble gum, I would take a bunch of little Tootsie Rolls, put them in my jaw, and just,
chew on them.
Kind of chew on them like and play baseball. Obviously looking for that tobacco-like effect that the cool major leaguers used to have, like Lynn Dykstra, when he would drip down the front of his jersey. I'm not mad at a Tootsie Roll. I'm not.
Hot Box Pizza puts Tootsie Rolls on all their pizzas.
They do. Hot Box Pizza's good.
Not in the pizza, but in the box.
Right. It's like a little treat.
Yeah.
Olive Garden gives you those little chocolates. Hot Box gives you the Tootsie Rolls.
By the way, speaking of, just real quick, point of privilege, we're celebrating my mom's 70th birthday tomorrow.
Okay.
We missed it earlier in the month because of sickness in the family, went from week to week to week, and we're having Olive Garden carry out tomorrow. Very classy.
Nice.
Very classy for the Laskowskis.
Nice.
Tomorrow.
All right, so Matt Bear, if it's all right with you, we're going to celebrate National Tootsie Roll Day a little different here. Allison, go ahead and kill this music. Give me something more appropriate.
The butterfly, that's on. Let me see it.
Standing by with a look at the roads on National Tootsie Roll Day, the traffic beast, Matt Bear.
You got it, Hammer. Looking at eastbound 465, stop and go traffic, Keystone Avenue to Allisonville Road. Southbound 65 to downtown, slow. MLK to Meridian Penn, delay continues on southbound 6570 North Split down to Fletcher Avenue. Eastbound 70 slows from the North Split out to Sherman Drive. South side, eastbound 465 slow, Kentucky Avenue to the White River. Northbound 37 stop from Epler Avenue to 465. Traffic Traffic sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers, and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Did 20-something-year-old Nigel ever do the Tootsie Roll?
I don't believe so, no.
Have a Nice Day Cafe or Tiki Bob's or any of those places?
World Mardi Gras.
Right.
Flashbacks.
Were you a dance floor guy?
No, I was kind of, upper lip, biting my lower lip and just kind of standing there.
The white man overbite?
Yeah. Miller Lite in one hand, Captain and Coke in the other, yeah.
51 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. Is this anything? Next.
Down on the south side of Indianapolis. My family, we're Southside Catholics. We believe in hard work and keeping our word.
Indiana businessman Jefferson Shreve.
I was still in school when I started my own business, but I made sure those values were at its core. Keep your word, serve your customers, and work your tail off. But let's talk about the mess we're in today. The left's pushing their agenda, our culture's under attack from the far left, and don't even get me started on the border. I took on the left and their lawlessness in Indianapolis, and now it's bleeding into our suburbs and rising from our southern border. It's time to fix the problem in Congress. And we could fix this if the politicians would just do what they say they will, like we do in our business. But they don't. We need a fighter. We need law and order and liberty. And so I'm running for Congress. For law, order, and a secure border, I'm Jefferson Shreve, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Shreve for Congress.
Got cabin fever? We've got the cure. The Ford 69th Annual Indianapolis Boat, Sport, and Travel Show, February 16th through 18th and 21st through 25th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Over 750,000 square feet of the latest boats, RVs, power sports, motorcycles, Tackletown USA, travel destinations from across North America, and much more. Save money and buy tickets online at IndySportsShow.com. And don't miss the 26th Annual Indiana Deer, Turkey, and Waterfowl Expo during the final 3 days of the sports show, February 23rd through 25th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. It's the largest hunting expo in the Midwest, displaying the latest hunting, archery, and waterfowl gear. Hunting outfitters from around the globe. Learn from the pros at the Hunting Seminar Series. Get your deer scored and see the Hoosier Record Book Hall of Fame. One ticket gets you into both shows. For details and to save on tickets, visit IndySportsShow.com. Another Renfro production.
For over 75 years, Running Stores have earned the reputation for quality brands, fair value, and hometown-friendly service. Now Runnings is bringing those same values to you. Runnings is now open in your community. Find the widest variety of everything you and your family need for your home, on the farm, and in the outdoors. Runnings is proud to live, work, and serve in local communities across the Midwest, the Northeast, and America's heartland. Runnings is your new home, farm, and outdoor store. We look forward to seeing you soon. Learn more about us at runnings.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no two people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. And now, during the final days of our President's Day sale, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus 10% off all bases. Ends Monday. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Everyone wants energy that's reliable and affordable. I've been a Duke Energy line worker here in Indiana for almost 20 years. So I'm proud to help deliver that for the people and the communities that matter most to me. With stronger, more resilient systems, better able to stand up to severe weather, and support for local businesses and jobs. It feels good knowing I'm helping build a smarter energy future for all of us.
Paid for by Duke Energy shareholders.
Woodard, Emhart, Henry, Reeves, and Wagner. Over 140 years specializing exclusively in patent, trademark, trade secret, and copyright law and litigation. On the web at uspatent.com.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Hammer, how do we play Is This Anything?
I'm going to run some stories by you. You will be the one that breaks down all the information and gives us a verdict. Is the story anything or not? Is this anything? A woman's going viral on TikTok for ranting. and raving about how she wants DoorDash to actually deliver to her door.
I want to know what happened to DoorDash, because somehow DoorDash quickly became call you when I'm in the lobby dash. Hey, come outside and pick it up dash. I wanted it at my door. That's why I DoorDashed it. I might be in the shower. I can't come downstairs to the lobby in my pajamas. That was the whole point of getting it to my door.
I mean, it's something. It tells me that people just are not grateful anymore. We live in the greatest country in the world. We are at a high level of expectation when it comes to the finer things in life. This lady's complaining because she lives in an apartment and they won't deliver straight to her door. You have to come to the lobby to get it. That's what we're complaining about now.
Is that what they call first world problems?
Can we just be grateful? You got somebody to deliver your crap to the place where you live. Just be thankful. There are people eating dirt for dinner tonight, not only in other parts of the world, but in this country. And you're complaining. I remember, I remember living in Austin, Texas. My wife and I lived in an apartment on South Congress and having to go to the lobby to get pizza delivery because they wouldn't come to the door. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll be there in two seconds.
It's better than actually driving to the store, getting it, and coming back.
The things people complain about, the things people worry about. I mean, you have no clue what's going on in the real world at all, much less, complaining about DoorDash not delivering to your door because you might be in the shower. Shut up.
I don't know who this woman is, but I'm willing to bet that she wants everything paid for. She wants free college. She wants free cars. She's got a Bernie Sanders sticker on her car. I'm guarantee you that's what this woman is like without knowing anything about her.
That just kind of like put me in a sour mood for some reason, listening to somebody complain about something like DoorDash not actually delivering to your door if you live in an apartment.
Okay, well, maybe this will put you in a better mood. Is this anything?
Yeah.
It's been 50 years since the Apollo missions. And finally, the United States of America has landed another spacecraft on the moon.
What? Is there anybody in it?
No. The Odysseus lunar lander starting to send data back to Earth.
Okay.
Here's the communication from NASA when it finally landed on the moon.
What we can confirm, without a doubt, is our equipment is on the surface of the moon. Houston, Odysseus has found his new home.
Yes, that's something. That puts me in a better mood immediately. It tells me, here's two things you need to know about this story. A, they landed on the dark side of the moon. That's why they were having trouble communicating with it. There was navigation issues. There was communication issues. Did I say one or A? A?
I don't know.
Two.
I was thinking about a Pink Floyd joke, but I froze.
I don't want to be like Buzz in Home Alone. A, then three. Here's this was done by a private company. NASA was involved, but it was done by a company called Intuitive Machines. I like it when private companies do things like this instead of the government. It's quite oftentimes the government having to go to these private institutions to get things done.
Right.
That's what I like to see. So, I mean, I was listening to somebody today, I forget who it was, that they were saying eventually what they want to do is put a giant telescope on the dark side of the moon. That means like they won't have any interference from, sounds, anything from Earth. It's just, it would be able to look so much deeper into space. I hope I'm getting that right. I'm not sure if I am. I was listening to somebody talk about it today, but that would be incredible. Technology is amazing. And
anything about a probe into Uranus yet?
Hey-o! Oh, wow. I walked right into that one.
Is this anything? The Philadelphia Street Department had to apologize to the residents of West Philly after they left an excessive amount of salt on the streets following a snowstorm. Here are a couple of people from the community talking about the issue.
It is a mess. It is a horrible mess. My car has a salt dust over it. The car wash is always open. It's Exioline as we speak.
And it was like just a white cloud. So I'm like, should I come now or should I come later? Because if I come out and there's all this white dust, it defeats the purpose. But it died down. I guess for people with asthma, or those kind of issues, respiratory issues, it will be a problem.
Is that anything?
You just put me in a bad mood again. Now I'm back to hating people again. You're complaining about the city doing its job and putting salt down for a snowstorm?
There's too much salt in West Philly.
That's the biggest problem you got in West Philly? Okay, no, this is nothing. It's like either or. It's like you could never. That's why I feel bad sometimes for these, Department of Public Works, is because either there's not enough salt, there's too much salt, and they weren't prepared for the roads. There's too many potholes. It's just the complaining goes on and 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 on. And I've been a part of it sometimes, I freely admit.
But the real complaining should go to their boss, which in many cases is their up-to-no-good mayor. And I know Philly's mayor stinks, and I know Indy's mayor stinks. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Chuck loves the word grit, and I think he saw that in his father because his dad worked very hard.
Dorn Goodrich on family and her son, Chuck Goodrich.
We struggled. We had 4 children. We both worked, but we always paid our bills.
Chuck Goodrich was raised in a working-class home focused on faith, sacrifice, and a strong work ethic. As a young man, Chuck Goodrich worked at a gas station and a pizza shop. To pay his way through Purdue, Chuck worked at a campground, living in a tent one summer to save more money.
I said, but son, where are you going to live? He said, well, I got a tent, and I'm going to stay in that tent. He was willing to do whatever it took.
Now, Chuck Goodrich's sacrifice, grit, and relentless work ethic have paid off. Goodrich employs 2,000 people at Gaylor Electric.
He wants people to succeed because God gave him a heart for people.
Chuck Goodrich, conservative leader, who's your heart?
I'm Chuck Goodrich, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Go with Chuck Goodrich Committee.
You never know if the person next to you in line is a McMuffin, a McGriddles, biscuit, or burrito person. But what you do know is that every last one of us in line for our McDonald's breakfast this morning were brave enough to get out of bed a few minutes early.
No matter what you order at McDonald's, you know you're in line for something delicious. And with options like the steak, egg, and cheese bagel, sausage McMuffin with egg, or egg McMuffin, there are no wrong choices at participating McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Dents happen. There's a whole lot of stuff that can mess up the look of your vehicle. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal. PDR is paintless dent removal that saves your factory finish and is way less invasive than traditional body shop repairs. And it's faster too, sometimes same day. Google Kill a Dent Removal and check out the reviews and photos. Then schedule your repair. Hail baseballs, kids, fender benders, shopping carts, flying cows, angry X's, and anything else that leaves dents. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
More sanctions for Russia. Partly cloudy and 51 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. You've got a clear radar and a low of 27 expected tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:30. Over 500 sanctions for Russia announced today following the death of Alexei Navalny, a man who opposed Vladimir Putin and recently died in prison.
We are committed to continuing to support the people of Ukraine as they defend themselves against Russia's vicious and brutal war in Ukraine.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. It's been about 2 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. Thousands of Americans lost service yesterday during an outage impacting AT&T customers. National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby says the White House is looking into it.
The network industry, particularly AT&T, and that they do not believe, they've said they don't believe that this was the result of some sort of cybersecurity incident. That said, it's still being investigated.
Some communities also said they were having difficulties with 911 services. Former high school football coach in northern Indiana has resigned after he was charged with battery last week. Sasha Nixon reports.
John Barron worked as a coach and teacher at John Glenn High School in Walkerton. A female told police that he had touched her butt more than once. Officers say he later described himself as hands-on, but he claimed he did not remember hitting the girl. Sasha Nixon, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
You'll see temperatures rise from the 30s Saturday to mid-60s by next week.
Spring is starting to get into the air on occasion. Saturday into Sunday will be the biggest change. 30s on Saturday. We'll call it 50s across the region on Sunday.
Alex McGinnis with the National Weather Service says places to the north and east of Indianapolis could get some snow later tonight. And a mixed day on the stock market. The Dow up by 62 to 39,131. The Nasdaq dropped by 44 to 15,996. And the S&P 500 was up by just a point to 5,088. Traffic and weather in 1 minute. Your time is 4:32.
Our country is being invaded. Thousands pour across the southern border every day, bringing fentanyl and violence. Who's to blame? Career politicians like Jim Banks. As a member of Congress, Jim Banks said that Indiana needed an influx of immigration. Jim Banks campaigned with political insiders like Paul Ryan and is endorsed by Mitch McConnell, who sabotaged the building of Trump's border wall. Jim Banks has betrayed Indiana on the border.
I'm John Rust, and I'm running to be your next United States Senator. I am a farmer, businessman, and political outsider. In the wake of the continued invasion of our border, I have challenged Jim Banks to join me in signing a pledge to remove Mitch McConnell as Republican leader in the United States Senate. It has become absolutely clear that a vote for Jim Banks is a vote for Mitch McConnell. I am John Rust. I approve this message because I'll vote to remove Mitch McConnell and make sure Trump's border wall actually gets built from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean.
Paid for by John Rust for U.S. Senate.
With traffic at 4:33, what's going on, Matt Bear?
Harrison crashed Morris Street at Plainfield Avenue. It's where Morris turns into Plainfield Avenue. And then on the south side, crash stop 11 Road at 135. Looking at southbound 65, that stop-and-go traffic from MLK to Meridian. Penn continues on southbound 6570 down to Fletcher Avenue. Eastbound 70 out of downtown, slow from the north split to Emerson Avenue. And northbound 37 now jammed up all the way back to Edgewood Avenue to 465. Because of construction. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Indy's leader in patio installation is now offering a new driveway package. Schedule a free estimate today at IndyDecorativeConcrete.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Rain returns tonight before we transition over to snow in the overnight hours, with potential for up to half an inch of snow in the Indy metro. Lows in the mid-20s. Saturday, fairly chilly with wind chill values in the teens in the morning hours before we warm into the upper 30s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Punishment. Crime. Punishment.
There it is.
Judges. The remix.
Legal stuff. All right, Fulton County, Georgia. That's where the district attorney Fannie Willis. Fannie Willis.
She was Fannie this whole time until like a week ago. I'm not calling her Fannie. It's Fannie.
She's going after Trump for election interference down there, and she's also accused of hiring her lover, Nathan Wade, to prosecute the case and benefiting off his salary that he was paid, which is over $500,000, by going on fancy trips with him and things like that. And now they're trying to decide, well, did she have a relationship with Nathan Wade before they decided to go after Trump or after? Because that's a big deal.
Right.
Like if they're banging and she decides to appoint her lover to go prosecute Trump, that's a big deal. No. That never happened, right? I mean, the excuse, no, not till way after. Nothing like that ever happened.
And it's just a hell of a coincidence that with all this new money he was paid by the state to go after Trump, he was taking Big Fat Fannie all over the country, whining her, dining her, giving her meals and laptops and doing all the things that Big Fat Fannie wants to do.
Well, now, new report from Atlanta Journal-Constitution says cell phone data now has raised big-time questions about when the start of the Willis-Wade relationship began. They actually have technology that could track where you were, how many times you were there, how many text messages you sent, how many, your specific location.
Right.
Right? Is this, you see where I'm headed here, folks? Before the Trump indictment down there in Fulton County, specific cell phone data has been published about the whereabouts of one Mr. Nathan Wade over a series of days and weeks and months.
And the paper of record, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, apparently have got copies of where Mr. Wade was. Wade appeared to make at least 35 visits to the neighborhood where Fannie Willis was living before the district attorney hired him to lead Fulton County's election interference prosecution against Donald Trump.
I think it's more specific than that. It has specific times. Like he'd show up there to her place at like 10:30 at night and leave at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
But you're telling me there was no sexual relationship before the indictment?
They were working on legal briefs, if you know what I mean.
Oh, whack, whack, whack. So look, they testified under oath. Here's what this means. I'll just read straight from the paper here. If Willis and Wade were a couple before she hired him, it raises the prospect that she may have violated at least the spirit of anti-nepotism rules through Fulton County's policy, specifically focuses on family members, blah, 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 blah. More importantly, both Willis and Wade have testified under oath that the relationship began in 2022. If defense attorneys now could prove that they lied under oath, it could constitute perjury. Not only would she be charged with perjury, but they both would lose their law licenses for life.
Her office could be disqualified, and then Donald Trump might be walking out of Fulton County, kind of like Vince McMahon used to do that billionaire strut, coming into the ring before he got into his own legal stuff.
So shady, man. So corrupt. I mean, it's all right there in black and white with the cell phone data. You really dig down deep into the weeds of this. I mean, dozens and dozens and dozens of times, late nights. And then she goes ahead and hires him for $650,000 a year, the position he's not even qualified for.
And that's why she testified the way she did. She knew she was caught. She knew exactly she was caught. So that's why she made an ass of herself when all the cameras were on her. And it cracks me up that she campaigned on cleaning up the office in Fulton County because her predecessor got in trouble for taxpayers' shenanigans and sleeping with staff.
Yeah, sleeping with the help. Oh, I'm going to clean up this office.
She did the exact same thing. She did the exact same thing on a much larger scale. Check this out. In New York, a New York City councilman says that Joe Biden should bring back the Remain in Mexico policy.
I'm sorry, what? Who?
This was not Matt Gaetz. This was not Jim Banks. This was a New York councilman, Robert Holden. Democrat.
Wow.
Reacting to the story of Joe Biden possibly, maybe thinking about signing some executive orders to fix his mess at the border.
The president has to close or at least get a rein on the southern border. Let's stop the flow. I think Remain in Mexico was the best solution. If you don't qualify for asylum, you're not allowed in the United States.
Well, he sees what's happening in New York City, how his city is deteriorating. And if Mayor Adams won't say it, at least I'm glad somebody's saying it and seeing how this, these sanctuary cities were such bullcrap and virtue signaling, and this was before they knew that there were going to be hundreds of thousands of migrants coming to actual sanctuary cities. Hey, you said it was a sanctuary city. Here we are. Where's my free credit cards and free hotels and free food? And these cities like Chicago and New York City and Denver are imploding right now.
They never thought anybody would call their bluff.
Right.
They thought they could virtue signal and say, we're sanctuary cities. We're not like those ghastly people down in Texas. Ew, how gross. We're a sanctuary city. We have Grey Poupon on our sandwiches here. And then they got called on their bluff, and you got Pritzker going, whoa, 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 we didn't ask for this. Well, yeah, you did. When you said you were a sanctuary city or sanctuary state, you absolutely did. Even Van Jones of CNN says that Biden's got to do something right now because Democrats are turning on him.
Here's reality. Everybody has a number that is too big before they say something's got to be done. At some point, the number's too big even for Democrats. So the president is going to take some action. Reality is the courts might strike it down. Also, to your point, he's floating these trial balloons to kind of see what the reaction is.
9 million since Biden took office. 9 million. How numbers? How big's the number for you? Right?
Right. It all depends on what your number is. And I'm glad he said that end part because we brought that up with Tommy Pigott earlier in the show when he called in from the RNC. This is Biden kind of dipping his toe in the water, taking the temperature of the party, taking the temperature of some of the big talking heads of the Democrats, seeing where they're at. Well, do you want me to do something about the border, or do you want more folks to come in and we'll try to get in ballots? What do you want me to do here?
I don't know. Go to Boston to the rec center in the bad area of town where underprivileged kids have now been locked out because they can't go practice baseball or swim because there's hundreds of illegal immigrants staying there.
When is the Denver hospital going to get the bailout? Because all of these illegals are going in there getting procedures that they can't pay for.
Yep.
And the hospital's saying, hey, we got to make some money here somehow. And the folks that have insurance, that are here legally, that have money, they're on the waiting list because we're embedded with all these folks illegally coming into Sanctuary City. Today is also National Banana Bread Day.
Ooh.
So are you a banana bread guy?
If it doesn't have nuts in it. My grandma used to make it. I just don't like the nuts. I don't like the crunch in it. Yeah. If it doesn't have nuts, yeah. I like a good loaf of banana bread. Who doesn't?
It's got to be like fresh.
Warm.
If it's been sitting around for a little bit, then I'm out.
Butter on it, too. Ever heard of that?
Butter on banana bread?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
I've been more of like a marmalade kind of jam person.
No, butter.
Really? Allison, where are we at here? Number one, are you a banana bread person? And number two, butter or another spread?
You know, funny enough, Tony Katz's mother made me and Matt Bear banana bread once. It was amazing. And I agree. Ooh. I think butter is the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thinking back, if you remember the Summer of Love, which was also the summer of COVID, banana bread was a thing.
What?
People that were bored out of their minds were just making banana bread and putting it on social media. You don't remember that?
I remember just all sorts of bread. Like if you had a bread maker, people were making their homemade loaves of bread. I didn't remember it being banana bread specifically.
I saw a ton of banana bread. If they weren't hoarding toilet paper, they were making banana bread. They were watching Tiger King, and booze companies, that weren't allowed to be open, were making sanitizer instead of booze.
Distilleries.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went down to get some of that somewhere to get some of that stuff, didn't you?
Down in Bloomington. Just had to get out of the damn house.
Yeah.
Made a roadie down to B-Town, got some sanitizer.
It smelled like gin.
It did. You kind of huff that stuff, man, and gives you a little kick. Rub your hands pretty good, wash them, smell them.
Lick them.
It's like that smelling salt stuff that athletes do before ball games. That summer was wild, man. The spring and the summer of COVID. And if I remember correctly, we had a Hammer and Nigel Records song about all the things that took place that year, and it was inspired by Bryan Adams. I got my first real face mask. Bought it at my local Walgreens. Did a lot of drinking cause was the summer of COVID-19. Come on, let's go. They took all my kids out of school. E-learning sucks butt cheeks. Listening to Flip Flop and Fauci telling me to wait another 2 weeks. Let's go. Yeah. Standing 6 feet apart. This summer seemed to last forever. And then I lit a fart. I was bored and it was now or never. This is the worst year of my life.
Yeah.
There it is.
Unbelievable. Window customer. They did such a great job installing brand new windows in the front of my house. My energy bill has gone down, and I recommend them to all my neighbors, my family. My mom just got new Window Nation windows put in her house, and she got a great deal. Right now, it's 50% off all style of windows, plus an additional 10% off through the end of the month.
You guys need to hustle. This is the final week of the deal. 50% off all style of windows. Whatever style you like, half off. Plus an additional 10% off through the end of the month. And if that's not enough, how about 0 down payments, 0 payments, 0 interest for 24 months? This deal is a game changer, but you have to call now. Call now and speak to a representative at Window Nation. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. We have a sale going on now that's so big it only happens every 4 years. Leap into Comfort sale ends Monday. Save 50% off MSRP on everything from Lazy Boy, Smith Brothers, and Bassett, plus an extra 10% discount for cash or debit. Sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus with free delivery.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Discovery, innovation, progress. It all starts right here at IU Indianapolis. We're making cutting-edge discoveries in science, technology, and healthcare. We're investing in Indiana's future with degrees that make a difference. We're partnering with local businesses to drive our city forward. And we're just getting started. See where we're going at indianapolis.iu.edu/start.
Franciscan Health has been your hometown leader in heart care for decades. Recognized in 2024 by Healthgrades as the #1 hospital in Indiana for cardiology and by CareChex as #1 in Indiana for major cardiac surgery and interventional coronary care, we're proud to keep the hearts of our community beating strong. Franciscan Health, where our greatest reward has always been serving you. Take a heart risk assessment or schedule an appointment at franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
Having health insurance is important. So, if you or anyone in your family has Medicaid or CHIP, listen up. Check your mail for a renewal form from your state. Complete the form and mail it back right away so you don't lose your coverage. If you do lose Medicaid or CHIP, visit healthcare.gov to see if you're eligible to enroll in a low-cost, quality health plan. Keep your family covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Indy's leader in patio installation is now offering a new driveway package. Schedule a free estimate today at IndyDecorativeConcrete.com. That's IndyDecorativeConcrete.com.
Design it before you buy it. For a limited time, receive 50% off all products, plus special manufacturer rebates and 20 months, no interest, no payment.
Trust me.
All right, Matt Bear, it is Friday. We're approaching 5 o'clock. People are starting to get out of work. Let's get them home.
All right, Hammer, if you're doing the downtown thing tonight, southbound 65 stop-and-go traffic coming in from 21st to Meridian Penn. And the slowdown continues on southbound 65 as 70 from the north split to Fletcher Avenue. This is a crash on the northwest side. 2 vehicles. Somebody's hurt. 86 at Northwest Boulevard. Crash east of 46th Street at Allisonville Road. South side, 2 problems on Morris Street. 1 at Plainfield Avenue when Morris turns into Plainfield. That's a crash. And then we have down at Power Cables, Morris Street, east of Holt Road at Somerset. Traffic sponsored by B Window at bwindow.com. Learn how you can create an architectural design to see B's products on your home before you buy. And for a limited time, receive 50% off all products plus special manufacturer's rebates. Trust me. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Man, if you're in your car right now, put the windows down now. Turn the radio up, but turn your windows down. Put your windows down because you're not going to be able to do it tonight. Cold weather moves in tonight. Tomorrow it's only going to be a high of 36 with a low of 27. But then it jumps back up again on Sunday. But enjoy this right now. Sunshine 53 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
Yeah. What up? This is Dr. Dre. The party's going on. Thank God it's Friday.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Here's a man cuddling on his couch with his giant pet pig.
Rosie O'Donnell?
I'm not done.
Sorry.
Then a second pig comes in and wants to get on the couch too.
Joy Behar. Wow.
And then immediately falls asleep on the man's lap. And this is where it gets good. A third pig that gets up on the couch and causes absolute chaos.
All right, Nelly, let's do this quietly. Let's do it quietly. That's all. Hi, Nelly. All right, Nelly. We got it. You're okay. You're okay. Did you just rip my shirt? All right, Nelly. We hear you.
That's what it sounds like when three pigs get on a couch with their owner.
And we call it the view. Like, are pigs a household pet where they could just come in the house and lay with you? Like, do people do that?
I sat and watched this. That clip was much longer. I mean, I sat for 3 minutes and for some reason on Instagram watched a man lay on a couch. One pig gets up there. He's kind of cuddling with it. A second pig gets up there, falls asleep on its lap, and a third pig gets up there and just causes, like I said, like you just heard, complete chaos. And I sat there and watched the whole thing. I am dumber. I am for having watched 4 minutes of that.
Did you hear how happy the pigs were, though? They were happy to be cuddling.
No, the third pig ruined it. It was chaos.
That's usually the case. Let me tell you.
One too many pigs.
Two's company, three's a crowd. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to close your eyes. Yeah. Allison, get ready to play this again. Close your eyes and picture Chris Christie on his honeymoon.
All right, Nelly, let's do this quietly.
Okay, that's enough of that.
Do you eat? Okay, speaking of pigs, have you ever tried like the?
Thank you.
I
was down a pound this week.
Congratulations. Have you ever tried like the? I don't know what they call it, like the Impossible Whopper.
Burger King, like the meatless Whopper.
Yeah. Have you tried like the not meat, the Beyond Meat? There's a company called Beyond Meat.
Look at me. Do I look like I turned down meat, Nigel?
But there's a company called Beyond. Have you ever tried anything like that, Allison?
You a meatless?
Oh, yeah. I have tried it. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. So Beyond Meat is a company. They just revamped their meatless burgers. They switched to avocado oil after using canola and coconut oils in its previous iterations, all because of under the guise of it's more healthy, more protein, less sodium. Here's the real story. They're doing this because nobody wants their product. Nobody wants to eat fake meat.
Right.
I'm sorry.
If you have the option of eating real meat or fake meat, why would you choose the fake?
In the first 9 months of last year, the company Beyond Meat, their revenue dropped 34%, and they had to fire almost 20% of its workforce last year. Nobody wants your fake meat. Sorry. I can't comment on it to the extent that I know what it tastes like.
Can we get a T-shirt with that at the merch store? Nobody wants your fake meat.
Really? While we have time, pimp the merch store.
Store.hammerandnigel.com. Get your T-shirts and your hats and your Beer Sample Friday pint glasses. It's all right there. Store.hammerandnigel.com. Top stories and Beer Sample Friday coming up.
Are you within 5 years of filing for Social Security? Get this, 96% of Americans forfeit an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. And it's because they file for their benefits at the wrong time. And $111,000, that could go a long way in retirement. Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel. Learn how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free customized Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy, right here in Indy.
If you've saved more than $200,000 for a retirement and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis right now by calling 317-648-5120. Learn how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits, and that money is rightfully yours. Schedule your free Social Security analysis by calling 317-648-5120. 648-5120.
Rape, murder, and human trafficking. We've all read the stories of the evil crossing this border. I'm Mike Speedy, running for Congress in Indiana. So why am I at the U.S.-Mexican border? Truth is, Biden's failures put every town at risk. Drugs and criminal cartels are pouring in, while politicians do nothing. I've witnessed the unused materials for Trump's wall and visited with law enforcement on the front line of this invasion. I am running for Congress because it's time that we have leaders who will join President Trump to finish this wall, send troops to stop this invasion, and secure our southern border once and for all.
Mike Speedy is an America First conservative leader. Speedy has endorsed Donald Trump because he knows we must return President Trump to the White House to secure our border. And Mike Speedy is the pro-life, pro-Second Amendment champion we can count on to protect our values and keep us free.
I'm Mike Speedy. I'm running for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Speedy for Congress.
When life happens, Michelis happens to help you through it. That includes water, storms, fire, and the whole insurance mess. Working hand in hand with the claims adjuster, Michelis is your advocate, your voice, your local trusted advisor for cleaning up, building back, and moving forward when disaster strikes. Now that is an insurance policy. Make it Michelis. Call 844-FIX-INDY.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Of course I love my parents, I really do, but often felt angry with them because I was always screaming so they could hear me on the telephone. All that has changed thanks to the CapTel phone from Relay, Indiana. We're so much better off because now my parents can read what I'm saying on the CapTel caption telephone. Our conversations are pleasant because through voice recognition technology, my words appear to them on an easy-to-read screen right on the telephone. Thanks, Relay Indiana.
Learn more at RelayIndiana.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, there's a chance for some snow tonight. A man from Indianapolis will spend 50 years in a prison cell for murder. And IU women's basketball pulled off an upset in front of a sold-out crowd last night. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recycler Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
A spotlight on South Carolina. I'm John Saucier, Fox News. South Carolina's Republican primary is tomorrow, and if the polls are to be believed, former President Donald Trump way ahead of his lone challenger and the former governor of that state, Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley sees the polls. She told Fox's America's Newsroom she doesn't have to win her home state tomorrow to stay in the race.
But it certainly has to be better than what I did in New Hampshire, and it certainly has to be close.
She accused former President Trump of talking incessantly about his legal issues. Trump told a Fox News town hall this week the legal cases against him are forms of election interference.
Nikki has no chance, but if she ever did, they would go after her the same way.
But Haley was asked why she can't seem to stop Trump, whose numbers seem to rise with every legal filing or appearance.
Just wait. March, April, May, June.
The months, she says, when the former president will be stuck in courtrooms. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott.
What we need now is to be very clear. Any other day after tomorrow, talking about Republican primaries is a day wasted not talking about Joe Biden.
Well, a handful of governors at the White House today with the border at the center of discussions. Edward Lawrence of the Fox Business Network, he's in the White House with more.
The governors feeling the financial squeeze of caring for some of these migrants. Now, President Joe Biden addressing the elephant in the room by pushing the Senate compromised package.
Folks, doing nothing is not an option. Compromise is part of the process. I didn't get everything I wanted in that deal. We didn't deal with dreamers. We didn't do a number of things I think we should do.
Some blue state governors changing their tune. Listen to New York Governor Kathy Hochul.
New York is a very kind and generous state. But to think that a state like New York or even the United States of America can house everybody who wants to come because of economic circumstances really creates a problem for us.
She adds you have to have common sense regulations for the border about who can come across illegally.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Snow could be back. Cloudy, 51 degrees downtown. No rain on the radar. Low of 27 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. With temperatures cooling back down today, parts of central Indiana could get some snow for the first time since last weekend.
If you get north and east of Indianapolis, Anderson,
Muncie, areas like that. There might even be an inch to an inch and a half of snow late Friday night into early Saturday morning. And then Saturday will certainly be a lot chillier with temperatures only getting up into the 30s.
Alex McGinnis with the National Weather Service. It could warm up to the 60s next week. A man from Indianapolis has 5 decades in prison for killing the mother of his children. Donnie Burgess reports.
Tara Smith was shot in the chest with a shotgun on the night of October 27th, 2020. Henry told the cops he tried to take the gun away from her because she was suicidal. However, crime scene evidence showed it was impossible for Smith to have shot herself. Finally, it was the children, aged 2 and 3 at the time, that were able to clarify that it was indeed John Henry, their father, who pulled the trigger. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
For the first time in 5 years, someone in Indiana's contracted measles. The Indiana Department of Health said Friday the person's from Lake County. The best way you can protect yourself is to make sure you're vaccinated. Measles starts with a fever, runny nose, and red eyes, and it's followed up with white spots in your mouth and a rash. You might be hearing leaders in Indiana say schools need more teachers. John Herrick reports on what lawmakers are trying to do to get more of them.
State Representative Dave Heine of Fort Wayne wrote a law last year that created a scholarship for students enrolled in a transition to teaching certification program.
We received overwhelming support for these scholarships from professionals who want to pursue a career in education.
As a result, he says $110,000 scholarships were awarded, and now there's a bill being discussed this legislative session that's trying to get more scholarship money to people who want to transition from their current profession to being a teacher. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
IU women's basketball upset Iowa at home last night. Head coach Terry Morin said it was a big win.
I think we had to have this one tonight to help us with our resume.
The Hoosiers held Iowa guard Caitlin Clark, the NCAA Division I all-time leading women's basketball scorer, to just 3 of 16 from three-point range. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and here's the question. When was the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it really deserves? If you haven't gotten down on your hands and knees just to see and smell that carpet, you might want to remember that your carpet's one of the bigger investments in your home. Here's the thing. That carpet is the largest air filter in your home, and it's probably full of unhealthy levels of dirt, dander, bacteria, and germs, and you're stuck inside breathing this nasty stuff for months. Right now, Zero Res will clean 3 rooms of carpet starting at $119, plus a free hallway, and don't forget dirt and dander's favorite hiding place, your air ducts. So take advantage of an additional 20% off all other services. Now mention WIBC, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $119, plus a free hallway and 20% off all other services. Give your home the attention it deserves and get the Zero Res quality and service for your home. 317-388-5141 or online at zeroresindy.com.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison, looking at eastbound 70 stop-and-go traffic after Harding to Meridian, Illinois. Southbound 65 stop-and-go 21st to the north. Slowdown continues as you make your way down to Fletcher Avenue. Lawrence, northbound 465, slow roll after Benton Pike up to 75th. Northbound 37 south side jammed from Edgewood Avenue to 465 because of construction. 2 problems on Morris. We have power lines down east of Holt, that's a Somerset, and then Morris, where it turns into Plainfield. A truck crashed into a full car fire. The driver was extricated. He's okay. Crash Allisonville Road at 46th Street on the northeast side. Northwest side, crash 86 at Northwest Boulevard. That's 2 vehicles. Somebody's hurt. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop the President's Day sale at Grand Appliance for unbeatable prices on a huge selection of in-stock appliances. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local showroom. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Rain returns tonight before we transition over to snow in the overnight hours, with potential for up to ½ inch of snow in the Indy Metro. Lows in the mid-20s. Saturday, fairly chilly with wind chill values in the teens in the morning hours before we warm into the upper 30s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weird?
Update on the Dorsey case. He was the one that shot and killed Officer Breanne Leith back in 2020 on a domestic violence call, unloaded a gun through the door and hit her in the head. The jury deliberated for 10 hours yesterday. They are putting some work into this, which I'd like to see. They adjourned approximately 2:30 in the morning. So basically, they have to decide if they're going to throw the book at him or if he's insane.
And if he's insane or mentally ill or whatever the term they want to use, there's a chance it might be a lighter sentence. He's going to get something. It's not like this guy's going to get off scot-free. But will it be first-degree murder with life in prison without parole because the death penalty has been taken off the table? Or will it be some sort of manslaughter charge because he's been deemed mentally unfit or insane, whatever you want to say? That's what we're dealing with here. So this jury, who adjourned at 2:30 a.m. early this morning, went back at around 1 p.m. today, and the defense and the prosecution, they were each given 20 minutes to refresh the jury, like closing statements part 2, if you will. They each got 20 minutes, and then the jury went back, and they've been in deliberations ever since. So if we get any sort of information, if the jury comes to a decision, we'll bring that to you. If it happens when we're off the air, the awesome folks in the WIBC newsroom have you covered. I can't remember, Nigel, are you an AT&T subscriber? Did you get affected yesterday?
No, yeah, long time with AT&T, but I was not affected by that nationwide outage. I want to say nationwide, not everybody was affected, but pockets of big cities were, including Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis was like number 5 on the list of cities that were affected.
Right.
In terms of how many people were shut out of their account, or not shut out, but their phones didn't work.
Right. They were affected in some way, whether they couldn't use their phone or...
It's like an SOS message or something.
Yeah. Some folks had Wi-Fi issues. Other folks, and I don't know if this is connected or not, we haven't really got any resolution on this, had banking issues.
I did have banking issues yesterday. Yeah, my bank, I couldn't get into my account on my app. I didn't try online. I don't think you can get it online either, but I couldn't get it on my app. And that was kind of scary. And look, the prospect of cell phones going out, getting hacked by the Chi-Coms is scary. That was one of the conspiracy theories out there. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I don't think that's what this was. But just think of how dependent we are on our cell phones. I don't have a landline in my house anymore. What happens if, Chris Wray, the director of the FBI, what did he sit there and tell that, the congressional committee a couple of weeks ago? It's a big deal that China's trying to hack into our infrastructure, and not only military kind of government stuff, like individual civilians as well.
And what was cute was when you had people using Chinese spyware TikTok, making videos complaining, I hope the Chinese aren't spying on us. I hope this is not something bigger as to why my phone's not working. AT&T, though, they're trying to put the kibosh on some of these conspiracy theories. They're basically just saying that it was human error and that they got crappy software and they fixed the glitch.
We fixed the glitch.
They acknowledged that the widespread network outage across the United States yesterday was, in essence, a software situation.
Some update
of
the software?
Right. There's no indication that the outage is a result of a cyber attack or malicious activity. But you mentioned it earlier. Let's just say that it was. Is AT&T going to come out there and go, damn, the Chinese are good. They're real good. They got us. I don't know what to tell you. They got us. They're not going to say that.
Well, if they did, I'm so cynical. I'd look the other way. I'd go, yeah, right, whatever. It's like a coding issue. You got somebody that just got out of computer school.
Learn to code.
Yeah, working there and pushed the wrong button.
Well, in honor of AT&T acknowledging that this network outage may have just been a little glitch on their behalf, nothing too outrageous, here's a little Hammer and Nigel Records tribute.
Oh.
And if you appreciate Led Zeppelin, I think you'll like this.
The person you are calling cannot accept calls at this time. We're sorry for any inconvenience this may cause.
Communication breakdown. AT&T.
Okay.
I couldn't text my girlfriend, so she broke up with me.
Okay.
It sucks.
Thank you.
They're not all 10s, Nige. They're not all 10s.
AT&T!
Allison, it's Friday. Let's do some booze news.
You set him up and I'll knock him back, Lloyd. 1 by 1.
We are gonna read booze news, cause it's really fun.
Once it hits your lips, it's so good.
Nigel presents
Booze news, booze news.
Yeah.
Time for booze news.
So, a 42-year-old man in Canada was arrested when someone called the police to say he was causing a disturbance in a restaurant. He was drunk, he refused to leave, so the police officers wrote him up. And then they drove him home. But the man was still upset, and shortly afterwards, he drove himself to the police station, drunk, demanded to talk with the supervisor about the previous arrest, and again, hammered drunk. They made him take a breathalyzer, which he failed, so they arrested him again, this time for DUI, and they took his license away.
Much more serious charge this time. So he's getting drunk and disorderly at this restaurant. He won't leave. The cops in Canada are nice. They gave him a ride home.
Right.
After refusing to leave the restaurant because people were complaining he was too drunk. And then he's like, damn it, screw this. I'm going to hop in my car and drive to the police station and give them a piece of my mind. I tell you what, man, that booze can have a strange effect on people.
How about this?
Don't I know it?
How about this story here? We got more booze news here. And we're going to learn something here. So get your pens out, get your paper, take some notes. We're going to learn something here. Your ability to describe how drunk your friends are is about to become more robust. A study found that the English language has 546 different words for being drunk. 546. Now, the classics, I think we all know, hammered, wasted, trashed, tipsy,
smashed,
loaded. So we've heard those things. On a more formal level, there's inebriated, things like that. But there are some British terms that maybe the American audience doesn't know.
Really?
These were British terms to describe somebody intoxicated that you can use to describe your friends. Bladdered, mullered.
Mullered?
Mullered.
That's what happened to Donald Trump with the Mueller report. That's what he tells all his buddies. Yeah, I just got mullered.
Pickled, cabbaged, sozzled, fuddled, paleathered, corned, skunked, squiffed.
These are all British,
stonkered.
British terms?
Yes. Trousered, beery, beliquored, bingoed, jeremied, pacified, snookered, crapulous, and slab happy.
Oh, I had 15 beers last night. I was so jeremied. Sounds ridiculous. Those British terms, I've never heard of any of those. I think like the most common term for being drunk over in the UK is the P word, P-I-S-S-E-D.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm allowed to spell it or say it or not.
Well, you just spelled it, so you're good.
Okay.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's odd. I haven't heard a lot of these, but let's see what that list would sound like if read by AI Joe Biden and AI Donald Trump.
Bladdered, mullered, pickled, cabbage, sozzled, fuddled, pilothered, corned, skunked, squiffed, stonkered, trousered, beery, bellicored.
Bingo, Jeremy, pifflicated, snookered, crapulous, and slap happy.
That's what it would sound like if the presidential frontrunners were describing these new terms that we've all learned here today.
Oh, Matt Bear, you got to use that in your next podcast.
That's a debate I would watch.
I want to hear you at some point talk about how you were trousered.
I used to be pickled. Then I was Jeremy. Eastbound 70 right now is stopped from Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. Also on the south side, eastbound 465, stop and go traffic from I-70 past Kentucky Avenue. 2 problems on Morris right now First one is at Morris at Plainfield, where it turns into Plainfield. Truck went into a pool, caught fire. The driver was extricated. He's okay. Also, Morris east of Holt at Somerset. That's fallen power cables. Please be careful in that area. Here's a crash. Lawrence at Penn Pike east of 42nd. Crash outside State Avenue south of Walker Avenue. That's a hit and run. Also on the south side, Stop 11 Road. A crash, Stop 11 Road at State Road 135. And then on the northwest side, there's a wreck 86th Street at Northwest Boulevard. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop the President's Day sale. Grand Appliance for unbeatable prices on a huge selection of in-stock appliances. Learn more at grandappliance.com on your local showroom. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Bladdered, mullered, pickled, cabbage, sozzled, fuddled, pilothered, corned, skunked, squiffed, stonkered, trousered, beery, bellacord.
Bingo, Jeremy, pifflicated, snookered, crapulous, and slap happy.
51 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. Are you okay with this? Next.
And my wife and I love shopping at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. About ready to get some outdoor patio stuff for our front porch, and it's free delivery with Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. They just delivered a queen-size bed, replaced my 12-year-old's bunk bed, and not only that, they disassembled it and took it with them. And there's a huge sale on pretty much everything in stock right now at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
When everybody else is jacking up the prices, Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus, they still have free delivery and setup if you live within 75 miles of their store. They will deliver your new couch or love seat or Tempur-Pedic mattress. They will set it up. They'll take the old stuff back with them. You don't have to do anything. Plus, Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus, they support what we do here at the Hammer and Nigel Show, so take care of this awesome Hoosier-owned business. ThompsonFurniture.net. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
It's frosty, it's freezing, it must be February, and if you finally had enough of the frigid drafts coming through your windows and the frustration of higher and higher heating bills, it's time to fight the February cold with quality replacement windows from Window Nation. This month only, you can replace your windows and save big with 50% off all style windows, plus an additional 10% off through the end of the month, and zero down payment, zero payments, and zero interest for 24 months. Call 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
With proven quality and service, it's no wonder thousands of homeowners, myself included, have trusted Window Nation for their homes, and you can too. Don't miss out with 50% off all style of windows, plus an additional 10% off through the end of the month and zero down payment. Zero payments, zero interest for 24 months. You can't afford to miss this deal. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Schedule your free in-home estimate.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Get started with internet and security for $49 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract when you add one unlimited mobile line. Plus, ask how to get an $800 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today to switch to Comcast Business. Ends 5/5/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 100 megabits per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no two people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. And now, during the final days of our President's Day sale, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus 10% off all bases. Ends Monday. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Spend an evening with James Taylor and his all-star band. The American icon is back on tour, June 11th at Ruoff Music Center. the multiple Grammy Award-winning James Taylor, and a night full of his biggest hits.
Got a friend.
Reserve seats on sale now at livenation.com.
Sweet baby James.
James Taylor, part of the Coors Light Concert Series. Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Are you really okay with this?
Are you okay? Everything's gonna be okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm pretty far from okay.
Are you okay with this? On the Hammer and Nigel show.
Oh, yeah!
So, Hammer, we have a 20-year-old woman paying tribute to her grandparents. Their names were Harvey and Charlotte.
Okay.
She named her newborn daughter Harlot. I don't think she was familiar with the term harlot. It's unclear if the name will be changed. Harlot, of course, means a person who has sex with someone in exchange for money.
Correct.
Are you okay with this? Harlot?
Yes, I think I am, because I've heard worse names, right?
Nigel.
I've heard Fonny. I've heard Fanny. I get what she was trying to do, but you can't call her Harlot. If you want to name her that, fine. What's the middle name? That's what she's going to go by. If like she's Harlot Ann, she's Ann moving forward. If you want to have the name to honor your grandparents, that's fine. But I got to be honest with you, man. I miss these types of terms. Like, I don't think people get called harlot enough. I wish people would get called floozies more often. Harlot and floozies are two terms that I think absolutely need to make their way back into pop culture vernacular.
Now, to be fair, she spells it Harlotte, and the textbook definition is Harlot. So there's an extra T and an E.
But when you say her name,
yes.
Hi, this is my daughter, Harlot, might as well just cue up Reba McEntire's Fancy and take her to the back room.
Nice reference.
Thank you.
People on social media, they're going nuts for Pizza Hut's hold music right now. The music they play when they put you on hold. Yes, you heard me correctly. There's a song where a guy sings about their chicken wings and gets way too into it. Some girl asked them to put her back on hold just to hear it again.
I heard one of the best songs I've ever heard ever. It was like some guy singing about wings. Would it be weird if I asked you guys to put me on hold so I can hear it?
Chicken wings are the thing that's not pizza.
That's right. Pizza Hut has chicken wings. And with 9 different signature flavors to choose from, they can be as saucy or seasoned as you like. All on top of a perfectly crispy chicken wing. No, now Pizza Hut. No. Now Pizza Hut.
Okay.
That's the hold music?
Are you okay with this person on social media asking to be put on hold just to hear the hold music from Pizza Hut?
Okay, so there are two different things here, right? Am I okay with the woman wanting to be on hold? No. Am I okay with this song being their hold music? Hell yeah, I am. It's better than any sort of Muzak or instrumental bull crap or the voiceover guy that they hire. Hi, all of our team members are busy right now. Like, you don't want to hear that crap. I'd rather have this guy singing about how awesome their wings are. Now, I don't know if it sounds like him or not. There's a lot of people on social media saying that it sounds like Craig Robinson from The Office. He was also in Hot Tub Time Machine, the black guy.
Yeah.
He does commercials for Pizza
he's
Hut.
their spokesman.
He's also like a DJ and stuff, like travels around and plays music and stuff. People think that may be him. I don't know about that, but if I'm going to have to be on hold, I'd rather listen to that than generic dorky voiceover guy, but I'm not going to volunteer to be put on hold.
Allison, can I have some mood music, please?
You take a good, you take a bad, you take them all from there, you have the facts of life.
Recognize this theme song?
Oh, yeah, Facts of Life. 80s hit.
Yeah, sitcom from like, I don't know, early 80s to late 80s,
right?
I believe.
The first season, a lot of people don't know this, Molly Ringwald was a cast member in the very first season, and then they retooled a little bit, and she didn't make the cut.
Well, it was kind of a spinoff of Different Strokes. The housekeeper from Different Strokes, it was Mrs. Garrett.
Right.
Girls.
So,
okay, here's why we're talking about the facts of life.
That's a damn good Mrs. Garrett. I got nothing out of it from any one of you.
I haven't seen Facts of Life since I was a kid.
No!
Okay, I'll take your word for it because that did make me laugh. Drew Barrymore celebrated her 49th birthday on our show yesterday and got a surprise reunion from the stars of Facts of Life. Lisa Welchel, who played Blair. Blair was always hot. She was the hot blonde.
She still got it. She was on like Survivor a number of years ago, and older woman, man, she still got it.
And then Joe, played by Nancy McKeon, and then Natalie, Mindy Cohn, reunited to wish her a happy birthday. And Drew was gushing and told them how much that the show meant to her when she was growing up.
Oh my God! It's Blair, Natalie, and Joe. I cannot handle it.
I saw myself with you guys because you were raising yourselves, you were raising each other, and it made more sense to the life I was living than any other environment because it was the day and age of television. What I was learning was to be a strong, independent female who could take care of themselves and value female friendship and know that there was someone there who was watching out for them, Mrs. Garrett. That was my life. I wanted so badly to be with you guys, and you gave me a blueprint that made my life feel better to me in every sense of the word.
Yeah. Are you okay with the adulation coming from Drew Barrymore to the stars of Facts of Life?
No. No Tootie, no need. How are you going to sit there and tell me you've got a Facts of Life reunion and Tootie's not involved? No.
Kim Fields, I believe, is her real name?
Correct.
Yes.
See, there you go. This will not stand. I'm not a huge Drew Barrymore fan anyway, but don't look me in the eye and say, we've got the cast of Facts of Life here and Tootie is sitting at home. No. Now, one more time, because I really feel like I didn't get appreciated the first time. I want to give you my Mrs. Garrett impression. Here's what I need, Nige. I want you to play the role of Joe. I want you in a very deep voice, because Joe had a deep voice. Ask me, Mrs. Garrett, if you can go to a party where there's drinking.
Mrs. Garrett, can I go to a party where there's going to be a bunch of boys and booze and boobs?
No! And scene. Thank you. Harrison Silcox has a look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
From the cops' point of view, 50 degrees, mostly sunny at the Circle, all clear with a radar low of 27 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 529. Indianapolis police have released body cam footage of the September 2023 fatal shooting of Darman Graves Jr. He was a convicted criminal wanted on a parole violation when police pulled him over on the northeast side. Graves pulled a gun on the cops.
Put your hands up! Put your hands up!
Two IMPD officers and one state police trooper were involved in the shooting. Darman Graves Jr. died at the scene. The driver of Graves' car cooperated with police. President Biden has announced hundreds of sanctions for Russia just a few days after the death of Alexei Navalny in prison.
500 targets were sanctioned, including people close to Alexei Navalny's death, also Russia's defense sector, and this network of backdoor entities that it's leaned on to evade U.S. sanctions. But the package did not designate Russia a state sponsor of terrorism, which Senator Lindsey Graham has been calling for. He tweeted, "These new so-called crushing sanctions will fail to deliver the intended results of making Russia a no-go zone. Doing business with a state sponsor of terrorism under U.S. law comes at a heavy price. Everything else is just talk."
Fox's Jackie Heinrich. It's been about 2 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. The South Carolina primary is tomorrow. The state's former governor says she still has a chance at becoming the next president of the United States.
We can want all the things to get fixed that we want. But if we can't win a general election, we get nothing. And Donald Trump cannot win a general election.
Nikki Haley campaigning in her home state. Former President Donald Trump is the current Republican frontrunner. John Barron works as a coach and teacher at John Glenn High School in Walkerton. Sasha Nixon reports that he resigned after being charged with battery.
A female told police that he had touched her butt more than once. Officers say he later described himself as hands-on, but he claimed he did not remember hitting the girl. He clarified that, if he had hit her, it would not have been intended as a sexual advance. In a statement, John Glenn Superintendent Christopher Winchell noted that the corporation is still committed to supporting the football family amidst the absence of their coach. Sasha Nixon, 93, WYBC Mobile News.
For the first time in 5 years, someone in Indiana has contracted measles. The Indiana Department of Health said Friday that person lives in Lake County. The best way to protect yourself is to make sure you're vaccinated. With traffic at 532, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison, coming into downtown at eastbound as 70 at Meridian, Illinois. We have a stalled trash truck in the middle of the interstate, blocking the center lane, has us jammed. Back to Tibbs for a 23-minute wait list. South side, eastbound 465 at Kentucky Avenue. Police out with a cruiser right now. Left lane is blocked at Kentucky Avenue. Backed up, stopped to Sam Jones Expressway off a delay. Only running 10 minutes at the moment, but as long as that left lane is closed, that'll grow. Fisher's Oleo Road is closed between Creek Ridge Lane and 104th Street. That's because of a crash. Northbound 37 stopped from Edgewood Avenue to 465 because of construction. And on the east side, northbound 465 slows Penn Pike up to 75th. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Indy's leader in patio installation is now offering a new driveway package. Schedule free estimate today at IndyDecorativeConcrete.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Rain returns tonight before we transition over to snow in the overnight hours, with potential for up to half an inch of snow in the Indy metro. Lows in the mid-20s. Saturday, fairly chilly with wind chill values in the teens in the morning hours before we warm into the upper 30s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The Hammer and Nigel show. My name is Nigel. That's Hammer over there. Hammer, I am seeing drips and drabs in terms of the economy, like in headlines, like positive headlines, like, the economy is growing faster than expected, jobless claims plunging, stock
Joe
market.
Biden earlier today said he cut the deficit.
Sure, yeah.
Hot
right.
damn.
Right.
How about that?
But somebody tell me, okay, I'm thinking, fine, the stock market's hitting new records, fine, but I'm still paying $20 for a pound and a half of lunch meat at the grocery. I'm still paying $100 to fill up my gas tank. And for this, we go to one of the best, friend of the show, Breitbart Finance and Economics editor, John Carney. John, did any of what I said make sense? I've got the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen saying, Americans are doing well, they just don't know it.
I love that line that we all, Paul Krugman of the New York Times just put out something that said, basically, you've all just imagined inflation.
Okay, right? Whatever.
None of it's really true. We're just all having some, we woke up with like a bad feeling in our stomach. Of course, it's not true. What is happening? Joe Biden's nonsense about cutting the budget deficit. He cut the budget deficit by not spending the $1.2 trillion he spent when he first came into office. He hasn't done anything to actually cut the budget deficit. We're running a kind of budget deficit that you would normally run during a war, during World War II, frankly. Not even just a small war. We are running a huge budget deficit. Over the last 4 years, I did a little math on this. The last 4 years, the budget deficit has averaged 9.3% of GDP. That's a lot. So
sounds like a lot.
Yes. So this is not a normal situation. Yes, the economy is growing fast, and I don't think people should try to claim that it's not. Unemployment is very low. We are adding jobs at a very fast pace. A big part of this is that we are pumping a lot of money into the economy, and that's one of the reasons that inflation, while it has come down a lot, has sort of stalled out. It's not coming down anymore. And Fed officials have lately been telling us that the risk is that inflation goes up again.
John, these jobs that you bring up, we've been doing a deep dive into these jobs reports that get released, every month. And you're right. You're not wrong. There are good job reports. More jobs are being created. Some are being brought back. But the type of job is interesting to me because it still feels like there's a lot of people taking secondary jobs, side hustles, if you will.
The gig economy.
Because they can't make it right now with their regular 40-hour 9-to-5.
There's definitely a lot of people who are needing, because inflation has run so high, needing to find extra sources of income. That's definitely one of the sources of job growth. The other one is, frankly, the government hiring a lot of people. Last year in particular, this wasn't such a big factor in this last January report, but if you look at last year, an enormous amount of these jobs are people being hired into government. And that's actually particularly worrying from an inflation perspective, because the government people aren't producing anything that's being sold on the market. So, when somebody gets hired into a private business, they're producing things that actually creating supply that holds down inflation. They're getting paid, of course, and they're consuming, but their supply and their consumption tend to balance. That's very different with government workers. They're actually not creating any supply that enters the marketplace, but they are consumers of market goods. So the government jobs are more inflationary than normal jobs are.
Breitbart Finance and Economics editor John Carney with us here on the Hammer and Nigel show. Well, okay, let's go back to what I was talking about at the beginning then. The price of lunch meat is, for a pound and a half a turkey is like $20 right now. It used to cost half that not too long ago. There's something called the producer price inflation. From what I understand, that's a scorcher of a number right now. So, okay, the economy looks good. The stock market is great, but I'm still paying a lot at the grocery store. Am I not?
Yeah, that's right. Look, food inflation came roaring back recently. That was one of the things that people said was going to settle down, and it's not. One of the reasons, again, is because the government's pumping too much money into the economy. That when you look at food inflation, particularly over sure, people will say, well, it's not so bad recently over the last 6 months. It got very bad again in January. But, the real way to look at food inflation is how much extra are we paying today than we were a few years ago? For a lot of years, food inflation was very low and almost non-existent, meaning you knew more or less what your food budget was going to be. It didn't change a lot from 2011 to 2015 to 2019. But if you look at what you needed to spend to feed your family in 2019 and compare it to what you need to spend in 2024, it's mind-blowing. The prices are up 23, 24, 25%. Wow. I mean, if you look at some categories, it's even worse than that. And obviously people's wages haven't kept up with, that kind of increase. So the necessities, the things that you actually don't have that much flexibility on are really going up in price.
So, John, it was a couple weeks ago that Joe Biden had a little impromptu meeting with the press, and he basically blamed the grocery stores for jacking up the rates.
Shrinkflation.
Right, saying it's the grocery store's fault that you're paying more for the lunch meat and the eggs and the cereal and all the things you go to the store for. Was he right?
I love this idea that they come up with, that there was suddenly this explosion of greed. That somehow businesses weren't greedy before. They were all just, when Donald Trump was president, I guess that was the great age of grocery generosity. And they were just all nice. Biden got elected and somehow they got really greedy and jacked up the prices. Of course, that's a ridiculous point. Grocery stores actually compete really heavily with each other. They have very low margins. They are, they're fighting tooth and nail. This is why you get, the flyers that tell you which grocery stores have the bargains for where to go, right? You have Walmart competing with Kroger's and Albertsons and, all of these, and Target. These places are, deeply competitive. They are not able to raise the prices unless the inflationary environment, meaning demand is exceeding supply. That's what's happening right now. We have an inflationary environment. It has nothing to do with greed. This shrinkflation thing, if you don't mind, I'd like to just address this. They act as if this is some sort of giant, civil rights violation to shrink the amount of product in a package. So I'll tell you, a business has two choices. It can either, when its costs go up, it can either try to pass that higher cost on in form of a higher price to its customers, or it could also shrink the amount of goods in the package and sell it for the same price. So particularly if you're going to a vending machine and it's going to charge you $1 for something, they don't want to change the price on that. What they'd like to do is actually just put a little less product. And I'm here to tell you that a lot of those packaged goods you're buying, probably you'll be better off if the amount of product inside of them is a little bit less. A fewer Pringles isn't going to hurt any of us.
And by the way, before we let you go here, don't let me forget to mention the Breitbart Business Digest newsletter, okay? But I have one more question for you here. John Carney from Breitbart. Wages outpacing inflation. Is that true? Because I feel like I've heard that a lot coming from the government, coming from the Treasury Secretary. Hey, don't worry about it. Your wages, inflation's high, but your wages are outpacing inflation. Is that accurate?
It's accurate only for the last couple months. So, in other words, it's like saying that, you're doing better now, but you're only doing better now after you got whacked in the head with a frying pan. Okay? This is I stopped hitting you with the frying pan. Aren't you happy? No, I'm not happy. Right? You hit me for 2 years, and now you stopped. I should be happy about it. No, it's not true. Actually, one of the things we do at Breitbart Business Digest every day, it's free, everybody should subscribe, is we go through all of the kind of lies that the Biden administration turns out. And this is one of them. Oh, you're doing better. Your wages are ahead. Sure, we're ahead recently. But, on any realistic term of time, everybody's behind because of inflation.
Where can people sign up for the Breitbart Business Digest that you, along with your editor-in-chief, Alex Marlow, co-author?
Right. So if you go up to our website, Breitbart.com, and you'll find a little place that says newsletters, and you click on that. And the newsletter, you can sign up. There's a whole bunch of newsletters. I'm going to tell you they're all really great, but particularly if you like our conversation right here, subscribe to the Breitbart Business Digest.
You're the best. Have a great weekend. That's John Carney, Breitbart Finance and Economics editor. Have a good one, John.
Thank you. You too.
I need a cold one.
Okay, I got one for you. Beer Sample Friday next.
Andy Moore Ford is your place to fall in love this February. Fall in love with their great selection and fall in love with their amazing service. Get more out of your next service appointment at Andy Moore Ford. With Ford pickup and delivery, they'll come to you. Andy Moore Ford will pick up your vehicle, service it, and return it to your home or office. And say hello to more rebates. Federal and state incentives, you could save more on your EV purchase. With updated federal regulations, you can claim up to $7,500 instantly on site. Need more room and versatility out of your vehicle? The all-electric F-150 Lightning has you covered with seating up to 5, intelligent backup power, and on-site power for all your tools and gear. This all-electric truck is built for it all. Visit Andy Moore Ford right there on Main Street in Plainfield, or find them online at andymoreford.com. Your new Ford car, truck, or EV is just a click away. Andy Moore Ford, M-O-H-R. I love Andy. andymoreford.com.
Our country is being invaded. Thousands pour across the southern border every day, bringing fentanyl and violence. Who's to blame? Career politicians like Jim Banks. As a member of Congress, Jim Banks said that Indiana needed an influx of immigration. Jim Banks campaigned with political insiders like Paul Ryan and is endorsed by Mitch McConnell, who sabotaged the building of Trump's border wall. Jim Banks has betrayed Indiana on the border.
I'm John Rust, and I'm running to be your next United States Senator. I am a farmer, businessman, and political outsider. In the wake of the continued invasion of our border, I have challenged Jim Banks to join me in signing a pledge to remove Mitch McConnell as Republican leader in the United States Senate. It has become absolutely clear that a vote for Jim Banks is a vote for Mitch McConnell. I am John Rust. I approve this message because I'll vote to remove Mitch McConnell and make sure Trump's border wall actually gets built from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean.
Paid for by John Rust for U.S. Senate.
Let me tell you about Travis Barnes, a local guy from Indy, sees what happens on September 11th and decides he needs to do something, so he joins the Marines, goes through basic, gets shipped over to Iraq, does 3 tours in Operation Iraqi Freedom, and through all of this, he learns about the Marine mindset, doing things right, discipline, with only the highest standards. Travis rises up to sergeant, receives multiple combat action medals and citations, survives several IEDs, and becomes combat disabled. So he comes back to Indiana and starts Hotel Tango Distillery. Some of you might have heard of Hotel Tango, but if not, here's the deal. They're an Indianapolis company that produces spirits made with the high standards Travis learned while serving. I've tried their bourbon. I enjoy their bourbon. 94 score from Wine Enthusiast, gold at the San Francisco Spirits Competition, and the best part, under $40. So if you haven't tried it yet, head down to wherever you buy your spirits and pick up a bottle of Hotel Tango. Thanks to Travis for his service, and thanks to Hotel Tango for sponsoring the show. Hotel Tango, distilled with discipline. HotelTangoDistillery.com.
Hello, America. It's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you don't have Consumer Cellular yet, now is the perfect time to switch and save. For a limited time, new customers can get wireless service for as low as $15 a month for your first year. Yep, the same exact nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for $15 a month for an entire year. What are you waiting for? Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and use code RADIO15.
See consumercellular.com/firstyear15 for promotional details.
This year, Dell Technologies wants to help you do amazing things with their best tech, like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors. Amazing prices await at Dell.com/deals.
Indy's leader in patio installation is now offering a new driveway package. Schedule a free estimate today at IndyDecorativeConcrete.com. That's IndyDecorativeConcrete.com.
We are moments away from starting the weekend with Beer Sample Friday, but first, Matt Baer.
All right, Hammer, we're in trouble on the southwest side, both directions of 465 first. Eastbound 465 is stopped right now, beginning on the southbound side before I-70 down to Kentucky Avenue. And that is because of police activity out with the cruiser right now. The left lane is blocked. Traffic delay is 14 minutes at the moment. Then westbound 465, still on the southwest side, stopped traffic from Harding Street over to the White River. And we look at inbound 65 right now. Stop and go traffic 21st to Meridian Bend. Morris Street, a mess in a couple of places. First, Morris at Plainfield Avenue. That's a crash. Somebody was hurt in that. A truck into a pole caught fire. Driver was pulled out. He's fine. Also, Morris east of Hold at Somerset. Down power lines. Watch out for that. Crash Lawrence, Penn Pike east of 42nd and Fisher's. Oleo Road shut down. Creek Bridge Lane to 104th because of a crash. Traffic sponsored by B Window at bwindow.com. Learn how you can create an architectural design to see B's products on your home before you buy. And for a limited time, receive 50% off all products plus special manufacturer's rebates. Trust me. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Right now, it is 50 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center, and it's time to start the weekend. It is time to have a little fun. It is time for Beer Sample Friday.
Right now,
Hammer and Nigel present Beer Sample
Fry.
I got some beers. Let's drink them, huh?
Beers on sale, people. Come down, get you some.
Brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. I have the libations again this week. Hammer, we kind of glossed over something yesterday. We talked about it. We didn't really celebrate it. I believe yesterday was National Margarita Day.
It was.
And it doesn't, but Beer Sample Friday doesn't always have to be beer. It could be, look, if you're a distillery, you want us to try your whiskey. If you're a bartender or want to bring us whatever, you can drop it off. I went to the liquor store and saw this and thought, man, we didn't celebrate National Margarita Day yesterday. So I'm going to throw you this. I'm going to try this again. Allison just covered her face.
She just ducked and covered.
Allison, I have one of these for you too. So stand up and get ready because I'm going to throw one of these at you too. So I'm going to throw this can at you. Okay. And this is because we missed Beer Sample Margarita.
Hey, there we go.
There we go. Now, here you go, Allison.
Okay, I see what we got here.
Oh, yeah, finally. 2 for 2 there.
Look at this guy. He just had to warm up in the bullpen a little bit.
Glad I did that over the board.
Yeah, no kidding. Right over the soundboard. So, Hammer, go ahead and tell everybody what we have.
This is Cantina Especial Watermelon Margarita tequila soda.
Margarita in a can, baby.
Oh, that sounds like the weekend.
I tell you what, usually I like margarita on the rocks with salt. I'll also take it in the can.
I'll just take it right here. Cheers, everybody.
Here you go.
Cheers.
Boy, that's good. That is real good.
Isn't that quite the delicious libation right there?
That makes me want to sit outside, let the sun, hit my body, just relax a little bit.
Does it involve nudity with you?
Maybe.
Oh.
I was just going to say be by the pool, but
maybe I'm wearing a Borat-style, mankini. I don't know.
Please. I have an assignment for you over the weekend, Hammer, because I did not know. We were talking about this during the break. You have never seen the movie Beer Fest.
I have not.
Done by the same guys that did Super Troopers. It's the same group of guys. And, of course, you've seen Super Troopers, right?
Yes.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to watch Beer Fest this weekend. It is hilarious. I don't know how, it's got to be at least 15 years old. It came out in the mid-2000s.
I can find that on streaming somewhere, right?
Probably, yes.
Okay.
I can't believe you've never seen that.
All right, so I will watch that. If, in return, you watch the selection I have for you, we talked about this earlier in the week with Adam Sandler, you watch That's My Boy.
With Adam Sandberg and Sandler?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Right?
Yes. You watch that film. I'll watch Beer Fest.
Okay.
We'll come back on Monday and compare notes.
Let's do it.
And we invite everybody listening right now to compare notes as well. Those are your assignments. Beer Fest, That's My Boy. Come back on Monday.
Great idea.
And we'll compare notes. We've got another hour to go. Do not go anywhere. We're going to get you up to date on the Dorsey trial. That is still going on, still deliberating. The latest from the courtroom. We'll check in with your movers and shakers of the United States government. Sends a cold chill up my arm. And we're going to have fun, man. Beer Sample Friday. The weekend is underway. Let's go.
Cheers.
Rape, murder, and human trafficking. We've all read the stories of the evil crossing this border. I'm Mike Speedy, running for Congress in Indiana. So why am I at the U.S.-Mexican border? Truth is, Biden's failures put every town at risk. Drugs and criminal cartels are pouring in while politicians do nothing.